busted his leg in the pregame warm-ups. He will be kicking off to the Vikings, who have won the toss of the coin, elected to receive, and Eddie Payton, number 31. Walter's older brother is back in single safety, standing on the 10-yard line. Kick comes down to the near sideline. Payton fields it at the 10, 15, 20, and still on his feet at the 25, cuts back inside, across the 35, and is out to the 37-yard line. Pretty nifty return. Finally stopped by Ted Thompson, number 51, off the specialty team of the Houston Oilers. 28 yards on that kickoff return.
You know, one thing, Frank, Tony Fritsch is a great kicker percentage-wise. He's not a long kickoff man, and has let teams get back past the 30, and of course Minnesota's to the 37, so he's a fine, accurate place kicker, but he does not have the depth on the kickoff, which can hurt you field position-wise.
There you have the Minnesota Vikings offensive lineup as Tommy Kramer brings them up to the line of scrimmage. Kramer is a Texan from San Antonio who lives in Houston and starts it off with a pass completion to the near sidelines and out of bounds. For the Minnesota Vikings goes Sammy White. That's good for a first down as the ball is advanced to the 49-yard line of the Houston Oilers. Oilers line up with that three-man front. Four outstanding linebackers. Robert Brazil is in the Pro Bowl, and off their secondary, Greg Stemrick made the Pro Bowl this year. Vikings with the first down and the very first play from scrimmage. Officials of the ball marked at the Houston 48-yard line. Kramer again back to throw over the middle and completes this one. Joe Sensor.
I talked to Les Steckel, Frank, the offensive receiver coach, before the game. He mentioned they're going to put the ball in the air today, and he wasn't kidding. Kramer rolled out to his right the first play and ran a deep comeback route. Sammy White looked like he was going deep, came back to the sideline, beat J.C. Wilson. Now they went inside to Sensor. Sensor's caught 34 passes this year and is leading the tight ends in that category.
They alternate their tight ends, Sensor and the veteran Bob Tucker. They shuttle in plays to Kramer from the bench. A 2nd and 2. Minnesota at the 40-yard line. Straight handoff up the middle. Looks like Ricky Young driving for the first down, or very close to it at the 38-yard line. This can be, of course, one of the noisiest stadiums in all of captivity. It is a first down. As you look at Bum Phillips, Bum, you know, does not wear his hat indoors, being a gentleman, since he is under glass today here in the Astrodome. And the Vikings certainly do not, or have not, come into this ball game playing it conservative. 1st and 10 at the 38-yard line of the Houston Oilers. Kramer near sideline to Ricky Young, and Young inside the 30 to the 29, and is close to another first down.
Of course, the Vikings love to go to the running back. This time he's got Rashad is going deep to the sideline, and then he's got Ricky Young out in the flat. He lays it out in the flat. Young is man-to-man. Washington's got him out in the flat. Of course, that's Darrell Hunt. Darrell Hunt, number 50, had him out in the flat, and Ricky gave a little juke to the inside and got a few extra yards. 2nd
down and a yard needed for the first down. Vikings at the Oiler 29-yard line. Ricky Young driving for the first down to the 26. Young, just an excellent pass receiver since he joined this ball club. And the Vikings have the reputation as being one of the older clubs in the NFL, but they very quietly injected some youth. And they have an excellent combination now of youth and experience as Bud Grant talks things over with Bob Tucker, the shuttling tight end. First down, Minnesota at the Oiler 26. Opening drive of the ball game. Kramer handing off to Young to the 25.
You know, the Vikings really have come out with, I personally believe, a good philosophy here, and it's a good concept. When you have a team like Houston, they haven't allowed a touchdown in the last 10 quarters. They haven't allowed a touchdown passing in 3 games. You're inside. You've got the fans here. It's a big game for them. The way that they can get fired up is stop some runs immediately. Minnesota came out with their strength throwing the ball, and they've moved down the field. And they've got Houston off guard right now. They're doing a good job. They've gone to the run here now late, but it's worked for them. But they start out with a pass, and I think that caught Houston off guard.
Third wide receiver in there for the Vikings, Terry LeCount. Kramer back to throw on 2nd and 8 and completes it. Close to the first down at the 18-yard line. As the Vikings continue to move the ball well. Sammy White, number 85 on the receiving end.
Here's Sammy White is to the outside. He's driving down, and now he's going to come back to the sidelines. Watch him stop and come back right there to the sideline, and it's a tough play to handle. You don't know if he's going deep or when you have him man-to-man or if he's going short. And of course, he made that little move like he was going deep, came back quick, and it was a ball on the money. And it's just tough to stop a pass like that.
Ball is marked at the 17-yard line, which puts it inches short of the yardage required for the first down. Third down, and maybe a foot needed for the first down. Crowd really firing up now, getting behind the Oilers. Kramer fumbled the snap from the center, but got it away to Ricky Young, and Young didn't need much, and I think he got it at the 15-yard line. There's the Minnesota shuttle in operation.
Jerry Burns is up in the press box. He calls down to Bud Grant. Bud sends the tight end to the game.
Vikings 9-6 coming into this game. They were 7-9 last season. And one amazing thing as we look at the measurement here about this Minnesota club, they have lost only 3 fumbles this year. This is a team that does not beat themselves. In fact, in winning 6 of their last 7 games, they have suffered just 2 turnovers. First down, Minnesota at the 16-yard line. And this drive, which started with the opening kickoff, and the drive started at the 38. Tommy Kramer looking very sharp.
Of course, Tommy's been sharp, Frank, for about 6 games now. He's thrown 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's been hot as a firecracker.
Kramer back to throw. One-on-one coverage, but too much for Ahmad Rashad. Defending against him was Stemrick, number 27. Tell you how busy Kramer was this week. He bought 200 tickets to this game for his friends. 200.
Here's Stemrick is on Rashad. He was up on him, dogging him, so they threw the ball quickly. Stemrick's in pretty good shape. Rashad pushed off a little bit.
Yeah, a little shove there. Officials didn't catch it. Kramer is now 4 out of 5 for 38 yards. That was his first misfire of the afternoon. 2nd and 10. Vikings from the 17-yard line.
3 wide receivers in now, Frank, with 1 running back. So they're, of course, in a passing situation, but it's a trap inside. Great play. Nice hole.
And down to the 5-yard line on that fine trap play goes Ted Brown on his first carry of the afternoon.
Of course, in a play like this, it's a trap to the inside. The left guard pulls, blocks out. Ted Brown's inside. Of course, Brent Boyd, number 62, made the trap block, and Brown scooted inside. That's a good play when a team's expecting a pass.
Very close again, and they'll have to measure yet another time. And this is so close, the official has to get down at all fours to see how close it is. Matter of an inch and a half, maybe 2. So again, the Vikings faced with a 3rd down and short yardage situation. This is where you quarterbacks would like to cross them up and throw for a touchdown. They're all looking for the run.
Well, 3rd one, percentage-wise, you want to get that first down and stay with it, especially in this territory.
The Derek Dowls are in good voice this afternoon, obviously. They say even Bud got a little excited last week after they beat the Browns.
He was, saw the picture in the paper with Matt Blair. He had his arm around Matt Blair, big smile on his face.
3rd down and inches. First down that far away for the Minnesota Vikings, and they go with Ted Brown, and he's got it at the 4-yard line. Of course, this is Tommy Kramer's first opportunity to come back to Houston. He played his college football at Rice, a team that didn't play its games in this stadium. They played at Rice Stadium nearby. He played his high school football at San Antonio Lee, and played in the Astrodome in a state championship game or a state playoff game. So he has played here before and played against Houston, of course, as a member of the Rice Owls.
All week long, he's been anxious to come back. He's got a lot of friends here, I'm sure. You mentioned his family and all the tickets he's bought, so he wants to play well before the home folks.
First down, goal to go from the 4-yard line. Kramer, good protection. At Sensor, couldn't reach it.
the ball was thrown to the other side, but, you know, Brazil, this is a play, first down. This is tough for a linebacker. They see the play going off tackle here to the right. Brazil's over on to the left, so he starts to pursue, but he makes a good recovery here. And also Stemrick, number 27, is back there, and it's not a clear shot to censor. I know what Kramer was seeing. He was seeing Brazil's in line and Stemrick, and didn't throw a good pass. It would have been a tough pass to catch. Pretty good defense in that situation.
Incredible day for Kramer against Cleveland. In those 49 attempts, he didn't throw a single interception. It is second and goal from the 4-yard line. Ricky Young gets a yard and no more. Stacked up by the middle of the Houston Oilers defense. They were all in there, led by Greg Bingham, number 54. He is tough.
Bingham was in there. Reinfeldt, 37. They smelled that one out real well.
So things getting a little tough now for the Vikings. Inside the 10-yard line of the Houston Oilers. First period has 8 minutes and 15 seconds remaining, and the Oilers haven't seen the football yet. Vikings took the opening kickoff and now have a 3rd and goal from the Houston 3.
This is the interesting call down here. 3rd and 3, down near the goal line.
Kramer's going to throw it. Now he's going to run it, and finally does throw it for a touchdown to censor.
Oh. Yeah, that's sensational right there. Kramer started, the play action fake was to the right. The pass was really out to the right. He saw that it was covered, so he goes back to run up the middle and spot Censor, and just good instincts, good reaction. Right there, he sees Censor right now. Bingham comes up to make the play on the run, number 54, and of course Censor's in the back of the end zone. Excellent instincts and great play by Kramer.
Rick Danmeyer to try the extra point, who had the most miserable day of his career against Cleveland last week when he missed 3 extra point tries, and that last second thing wouldn't even have been necessary for Minnesota. Well, he missed another one. Of course, how much of that was a miss and how much was a drop remains to be seen, but Mike Stensrud, number 67, came up the middle to block the extra point try. Danmeyer's got to be talking to himself. So the Vikings, long drive for the first score of the game. Lead it 6-0 with 7:56 left in the opening period. Here, let's look at the touchdown from a different angle.
Here's the play action fake here. Robert Miller, number 35, was out in the flat. Kramer looked immediately out there. He was covered, went back to the inside. He was looking for Censor, but first Bingham looked like he had him, and then, of course, Bingham came up for the run, and Censor broke free, and you have the touchdown.
Ready to kick off for the Minnesota Vikings is Rick Danmeyer. Rick is one of the straight-ahead kickers left in professional football. The rest are all the sidewinders, soccer style. They go with an onside kick. Look at this. Does not work as the Oilers recover at the 47-yard line in Minnesota's end of the field. Surprise.
Well, that was a interesting play there.
John Corker, number 57, on the recovery.
Almost looked like he gave it away a little bit. He kind of stepped up there real easy and tried to pop it in front. That's the kind of play where the kicker, the kicker tries to recover his own onside kick. If you kick it straight, you either kick it off to the right, to the left, and you kick it down the middle. It's chancy, and it didn't work.
All right, the Oilers have the football offensively for the first time this afternoon in great field position at the Minnesota 47-yard line. Right up the middle. They make no bones about it. Give it to the big man and let him do his number, and he gets 5. Earl Campbell, the leading rusher in all of professional football.
They've got 2 tight ends in, which is probably 70% of their offense. They have Casper in there and Barber, and Renfro, the 1 wide receiver. Casper's an excellent blocker. You hear about his pass receiving. He's having a great year for Houston. They got him about mid-season. So Campbell can go either side, either off of Casper or Barber, both fine blocking tight ends as well as good receivers.
Speaking of fine blockers, how about the guy in front of Campbell? Unsung, certainly, Tim Wilson. Stabler, excellent protection. Snake gets it away, incomplete at the far sideline. Heavy traffic over there as Mike Barber, number 86, was the intended receiver. This telecast is presented by authority of the NFL. It's intended for the private use of our audience, and any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Houston Oilers and the National Football League is prohibited.
Well, on third down, Frank, they take out Barber in this case. Sometimes they take out Casper. They have one tight end. They bring in White Shoes Johnson. They bring in Coleman and also Carpenter. So they've got their receiver core in there now on third down.
It's a whole new offense. Third down, long 5 needed for the first down. Stabler pumps it once, sends it over the middle. Incomplete and almost intercepted. Rob Carpenter, number 26, the intended receiver, and Stabler threw it behind him.
Matt Blair was in pretty good position, number 59, and Stabler did throw it behind him. It would have been a difficult catch. Even if he caught it, I think he would have been a yard or two short because Blair was in good position. Here's Stabler back. There's Carpenter sneaking through the line, number 26, going underneath the linebackers. He's going for the short one, hoping he can run a couple more yards, but the ball's thrown behind. And, of course, Hannon's there, and Blair is right to the other side. If he tried to cut back, I think Blair would have got him short of the first down.
Punting unit is on. Cliff Parsley, number 18, does the kicking for the Houston Oilers. The Vikings have 3 men deep standing back at the 10. A very poor snap, but no rush at all on Parsley. Fair catch is signaled by Keith Nord at the 6-yard line. And that's where the Vikings will put it in play. 36 yards on the punt. Frank Lieber with Roger Staubach. We're at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, where the Vikings lead the Oilers 6-0. New Orleans has jumped out to a touchdown lead over the New England Patriots down at the Superdome. 1st and 10 from the 6-yard line. Ted Brown out of bounds at about the 8. This guy came on to replace Chuck Foreman, and he's doing quite a job.
He's doing an excellent job, Frank. He's got over 800 yards this year. He's the second leading receiver for Minnesota. He's got 61 catches, right behind Ahmad Rashad, 63. In fact, I think Ricky Young's right up there with him, too. He's probably got about 62 himself. So that at 62 to Young and 61 for Brown. So they're fine runners, but also excellent pass receivers. The thing today also with Houston in the Astrodome, it really got the crowd quiet because of that first drive, and this crowd is a positive factor for Houston.
2nd down 8. Vikings from their 8-yard line. Kramer back to the goal line to throw it, sends it out to the near sideline to Ricky Young, and Young is knocked out of bounds in the neighborhood of the 15. That'll be just shy of the first down.
In fact, that was Ricky's 63rd catch. He's now right up there with Rashad with 63, and Brown's got 61. So that's quite a trio right there as far as pass receptions are concerned.
Ted Washington pushing him out of bounds. Short of the first down by a couple of yards. Snake Stabler looking over the situation. They're telling him before the game how much he looked like Kenny Rogers. And he says, Kenny and I got a deal. I won't sing if he won't throw. 3rd and 2. Oiler fans getting noisy. Hand up off the middle, and that'll be good for the first down as Brown clears it out to the 19-yard line. And thus far, the Oilers have not been able to stop the Vikings. Andy Doris, number 69, making the stop. This is a rare meeting between these two ball clubs. They've met only once before, and Minnesota won that one 51-10. That's Billy White Shoes Johnson.
He's got his contact lens on.
Yeah.
That's a joke, Frank.
I got it.
You know, the other interesting thing that Minnesota's doing, they're putting those 3 wide receivers in and using that trap up the middle. That's the second time they've got a first down with that trap up the middle with 3 wide receivers in the football game.
1st and 10 from the 19. Kramer back to throw, going long. Intercepted. That's Tatum. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, and down to the 5-yard line. No, it isn't. It's Vernon Perry.
Vernon Perry. Gets it turned around real fast. Vernon is on Sammy White, number 85. He's on Sammy White man-to-man. He gets out. He's got a little help to the inside by Stemrick also. Makes the play. Kramer hung it up there a little bit too long, and he's down the sideline.
Well, there's the thing that the Vikings
got Greg Bingham, 54, blocking, and good. Andy Doris is in front of him, so he's nice run back with good blocking.
Ball is actually inside the 5. That's the one thing the Vikings haven't been doing, is turning over the football. And that can get costly. Full house backfield now for the Houston Oilers. Rob Carpenter, a yard to the 3-yard line as Bum looks on. I understand you bought his book of one-liners.
He's got a new book out. It's short, to the point. A lot of great one-liners in there. Got something there with the football they're messing around with.
Second down, goal to go from the 3, full house backfield. Wilson, Carpenter, and of course Campbell. And Stabler wants to throw it, and does. Campbell couldn't hold it. Now, that's probably the least likely guy you expect him to throw to. He's caught only 10 this year.
Earl's caught 10. A man that great as a football player, the only area that he's not real strong in is catching the football. He's caught 10 this year, and it's unusual because a fullback or a running back should, around the league, are catching a lot of passes. They just don't throw to Earl. In fact, they take him out on third down, but that was a last resort there for Ken Stabler to throw out in the flat, plus he wasn't in the end zone.
Third down, goal to go from the 3. Carpenter starting in motion. Campbell caught behind the line and stopped standing up. I think every Viking on the field was looking for Campbell that time.
Well, that play right there, you see that time and time again. Houston uses it on short yardage and near the goal line. They have the man in motion. They give the ball to the inside. Campbell, and he tries to break the outside. That's been well scouted right there.
That's McNeil, number 54.
McNeil was ready for it. Turner, 27, was ready for it. And
all right, that'll move the ball back to the 6-yard line.
Talking about one-liners, Frank. Tony Fritsch used to be a little bit heavier, and his pants were a little bit baggy. And Bone mentioned the fact it looked like he had a Dutch family moved out of the back of his pants.
Old teammate of yours with the Cowboys.
He's slimmed down since then. His pants are a lot tighter.
This will be a 23-yard effort. Remember, he's had back problems and has been in the hospital for about a week. Nielsen puts it down. The kick is up and good. And the Oilers salvage 3. But I'm sure disappointed with a first down at the 4-yard line that they couldn't push it across. So Vernon Perry's interception sets it up. And we've got a 6-3 ball game. Minnesota leading with... And they're having a good time watching the Oilers on CBS as well as in person.
Well, Vernon Perry got him excited again, but they couldn't cash in for the big one. And that extra point puts them a field goal away.
Eddie Payton is back deep as Tony Fritsch prepares to kick off for Houston. 6-3. Vikings leading. Payton at the 6. 15, 20, 25. And upended just shy of the 30-yard line. Wonder who the cleanup man is after Bud on the sidelines there. First and 10. Ball at the 28-yard line. Vikings with the football. Now, if you're wondering where Minnesota is going to play in the playoffs 2 weeks, the best bet probably at Atlanta or Philadelphia. Of course, that remains to be determined after what happens today. Sammy White in motion across the backfield. Kramer trying to set up the screen and does so beautifully. Ted Brown out to the 35-yard line and crawls forward to the 40. It'll be good for just about 10 yards.
Here's the screen setup. He's looking off to his right, but you can see Brown drifting over to the left, and he even rolls a little bit, Kramer, and pitches it back. He's got Swilly out in front of him and Boyd, and some pretty good blocks, and Brown makes a couple on his own also.
You surprised the way that they're moving the ball? I mean, after all, here's a big one, by the way. Cincinnati leading Cleveland 3-0. We'll keep close tabs on this game for you, because if the Browns lose, the Oilers win the division, regardless of whether they win or lose here in the Astrodome today. Kramer on the run, hitting Sensor at the 45-yard line. You know, with all this talk about the Houston defense, as I started to say, you know, they're making it look easy the way they're moving the ball.
Well, they're moving the ball well. Houston, as we mentioned earlier, has not allowed a touchdown in 10 quarters, and that was the first touchdown pass in 3 games that Kramer hit Sensor on. So they are moving the ball. Of course, Minnesota's got an excellent passing game. They're right at the top of the league. And there's Tony over there. He's telling him how he did it. I'd like to do it a few more times today. But their passing game is strong. They pick you to death. They've got 2 running backs to catch the ball and find wide receivers, and Spencer and Tucker at the tight end, so they can move the football.
Second down 4. Vikings at their 45. Ted Brown finds the door closed inside. He stopped close to the first down at the 49-yard line. Speaking of scores, New England and New Orleans still in the first period, and the Saints have added a field goal and now lead New England 10-0. This has been a weird year, hasn't it?
Well, that New England team, the results of today's game have an impact on a lot of teams. And of course, the Oakland score is a big one here for Oakland. That guarantees a playoff berth if they win that one against New York, either as a wild card or possibly a division champion, depending on San Diego's game with Pittsburgh. So there's a lot to happen. There's 7 teams vying for 5 slots in the AFC right now.
No one has clinched a spot yet. Third down and 1. Miller driving across the 50-yard line to the 47 of the Houston Oilers.
Now, one statistic you look at, Frank, is the third down, and this is the area that Minnesota has been down on. They're about 35%, which is a little bit low compared to most teams. But today they've made their third downs. Third downs include short yardage or long yardage, and today they're making that 3rd and 1 and 2, and that's a key down. That gives you the ability to move the football, continue to move it, and Minnesota's doing an excellent job today on 3rd and 1 and 2.
Another first down for the Vikings. They're doing an excellent job controlling the football and keeping it away from Houston. Kramer with a bullet over the middle that is incomplete. Rashad was down at the 36-yard line.
Well, you saw the double and almost triple pump there. He was going to go to Rashad immediately. He was covered. He went back out to Miller in the flat, saw that Miller wasn't open, then came back late to Rashad, and by that time the down and in was pretty well impossible to hit.
That'll set up a 2nd and 10 at the 46-yard line of the Oilers. We're down to 1:20 left to play in the opening period.
Here's the 3-receiver backfield. They bring in LeCount to replace Miller, so they got Brown back there with Rashad White and LeCount.
Second down 10. The only running back is Brown, and he breaks it out to the 40, to the 35, and down to the 32. First down, Minnesota.
Here's where football is really a strategy game. Houston is looking at films all week, the last couple of games, and Minnesota's just crossing them up. They send Brown on a second and 10, and probably on the statistics and what Houston's been reading, they've passed 80% from this formation in this situation. So they're playing percentages, and of course they're crossing them up. The linemen are pass rushing. All they're going gangbusters for the quarterback, and Brown has slipped inside earlier in the game, and now he's slipped to off tackle and has got the first down.
First and 10 at the 33-yard line. Only seconds left here in the first quarter. Going long. Sammy White intercepted in the end zone. Picked off. Once again by the Oilers, Greg Stemrick, number 27.
Well, Stemrick was stride for stride. The ball was a little bit short, but Stemrick was right there. But Stemrick also is young. He's a great athlete, but he should have stayed in the end zone. His momentum carried him in the end zone, and the ball would have been out to the 20, and he tried to run it back, and it cost him about 13 yards. But we'll forgive him because he made a fine catch right there.
A great catch with 26 seconds left to play in the opening period. It's the Vikings 6 and the Oilers 3. One more time on the Oilers' second interception of the day.
That's Pro Bowler Greg Stemrick, and he deserves to be in that Pro Bowl. He's had a great year. He's man-to-man. He's got Sammy White all over the field, deep. It's to the post. The ball's thrown, and now he makes his move. He's got his eyes on the ball, and here's the good news. He catches the football, and there's the bad news right there. He should have spiked it. Instead, he tries to run it out, and it cost him about 13, 14 yards on that run back.
And getting a well-deserved rest. So the Oilers have the ball now with a first down at their 7-yard line, trailing 6-3. What could be the final play of the opening period as Stabler brings him up to the line of scrimmage. Campbell out across the 15-yard line to the 16. You know, we were down to the field before the game. His thighs are unbelievable, just massive.
Yeah, he's got those extra big thigh pads that even make him look more awesome, but he's got big thighs to go along with his leg normally, but those thigh pads add to it also.
Earl with 1,731 yards rushing on the year, eclipsing his team record of 1,697 set last year. That, of course, marks the end of the opening period of play here at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas, with the Minnesota Vikings leading the Houston inexpensive. Frank Lieber along with Roger Staubach at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. We're about to start the second period. Oilers have the football, a 2nd and 3 upcoming at their 14-yard line. Here's your basic startling statistic. Time of possession in the first period. Minnesota had the football 12 minutes and 5 seconds. The Oilers 2 minutes and 55 seconds. What do they say? You don't have the ball, you can't score.
Well, the Oilers have had their chances. They had good field position twice on an onside kick and got nowhere. And of course, on Vernon Perry's interception, and got 3 points out of it. Minnesota's defense has played well.
Renfro is wide to the right side. The rest of the team tight as Stabler brings him up to the line of scrimmage. Wilson and Earl Campbell. Earl it is. We get a flag, our first of the game, by the way.
Randy Holloway got a little anxious that time.
Just a yard or two. Offside against the Minnesota Vikings. Referee is Pat Haggerty. Umpire Dave Moss. The head linesman Walt Peters. The line judge Vern Marshall. The back judge Jim Poole. The side judge Dick Creed. And the field judge is Bob Lewis. And 5 yards walked off against the Vikings here to bring it out.
Offside. 79. Defense. First down.
That'll move it to the 19-yard line. And, of course, we'll give the Oilers a first down, which has been a rarity. Doug Martin, number 79, was guilty of the infraction. He's Minnesota's defensive end and #1 draft pick this year. Again, it's Earl. Running like a steamroller over the left side and out to near the 25, which would give him 5, maybe 6 yards in the play. Scott Studwell, number 55, the middle linebacker, making the stop. Of course, Campbell and Tommy Kramer, the Minnesota quarterback, played college football against each other down here in the Southwest Conference, so they're old friends.
He runs into Angelo right there and breaks to the outside. Doug Martin's in for Holloway, and he gets beat to the outside, but there's good pursuit, and that's the thing about Campbell. When he runs the football, he gets pursued from everywhere and gets hit by a few extra people besides the one making the tackle.
3rd down and a yard at the 28. I wonder who's going to get the ball. First down and then some as Campbell breaks it to the 40 and out to the 45-yard line. Everybody in the park knows he's going to get it, and still they can't stop him.
Well, that 3rd down situation is where Campbell has really broken a lot of runs. 3rd and 1, everybody's bunched up. They're ready to stop him. If he gets a crack, gets through that line of scrimmage, and Wilson makes an excellent block, number 45, and he breaks to the outside, and it's tough. Once he gets to that line of scrimmage, it's now the defensive backs that have to make the tackle, and it's tough to bring him down. Kurtnoff finally gets him. Number 25 brings him down.
Knopf, a former Houston Oiler. Earl looking a little weary at this point, but he can be deceiving because he seems to get stronger as the game goes along and always has some left in the last period. Here's Campbell up the middle. And we get a late flag thrown at the 47-yard line. See what this one's about. Holding against Houston. That'll cost him. Now we're talking about the Houston line. You ought to get a look at Angelo Fields, number 77, the big tackle who has replaced Leon Gray. He is the biggest man in pro football. And we asked Bob Hyde, the public relations man, this week, how much number 77 weighs.
Holding, number 55, offense, first down.
That one against Carl Mock, the center. Hyde told us that Angelo Fields weighs 347 pounds.
Banaszak had a great line. Said it's a cab ride to get around him in the pass rush.
1st and 20. Oilers back at their 34-yard line. Again to Campbell. 35, 40, 45, 50. Got it all back. And then some as he takes it to midfield.
Bobby Bryant, number 20, a good man at a rodeo right now. He bulldogged him down that time. Just jumped on his back.
Bryant
Here's
is
Campbell.
36 years old.
It's a draw play right here. Good draw. Mock is leading on McNeil. Gets a good on Studwell. Gets a good block there, and Campbell breaks the outside. He's got good help down the field. White Shoes was blocking on Bryant, and Bryant finally brings him down.
That'll set up a second down and 5 needed for the first down. There's another look at Angelo Fields. He's done a pretty good job replacing an all-pro in Leon Gray. Flag is thrown, pass is tipped. Intended for Dave Casper. That could be another holding call. Campbell now has rushed 7 times for 50 yards. So that'll back him up a little. One thing about you and Stabler I've always admired, same type of lifestyle guys. You know, you enjoy the same things.
Yeah.
You used to study that game plan by the jukebox every once in a while.
By the light of the jukebox.
All right.
I'll tell you, Stabler, when he hits that field, he's going to...
Holding. Number 60. Offense. Second down.
He's been a big play guy. Even, I'll tell you, a game I was watching this year when they were playing the Jets, and even though he had a lousy game, you still had a feeling he could come back, and in the fourth quarter, he threw 4 touchdown passes. You never count him out.
Second down, 15. Stabler this year has thrown 12 touchdown passes, but what's killed him is interceptions. He's thrown 26. Vikings coming with the blitz, and we get a whistle prior to the snap. Let's see what this one's all about. 30-second clock hadn't run down. I know that. It had 15 seconds left, so it can't be that. Illegal procedure against the Oilers. Crowd obviously does not agree with the officials.
We have a false start. Number 58, offense.
David Carter, offensive guard for the Oilers. That's the 3rd infraction on the Oilers in this drive. We went the whole first period without a penalty in this game. So they're now looking at second down. And a little more than 20 needed for the first down. Stabler swings it out to Rob Carpenter. 35. Carpenter to the 40. Up to the 42-yard line. Almost back to the original line of scrimmage, which was just shy of the 45.
Here's the play right here. You got Carpenter's in the backfield. You've got the 3 wide receivers in. Stabler's back, sees nothing downfield and dumps it off to Carpenter. And Carpenter's caught 41 passes this year. He's replaced Campbell at times. He's replaced Coleman, and he's replaced Wilson, and he always comes in and does a great job. He's a kind of player you need on your team, not only catching the football but running with it.
3rd down, 13. Oilers at their 42, trailing 6-3. 11:45 left in the half. Again, the blitz. Incomplete. At the 43-yard line, Mike Barber, the tight end, was the intended receiver. Tommy Hannon, number 45, defending for Minnesota.
Well, the Vikings like Hannon. They like their 2 safeties, Knopf and Hannon. Hannon's done a good job for them.
They play those safeties a little different than most people, don't they?
Yeah, Hannon is always stays on one side. He's their left safety, and Knopf is their right safety, so it's not a strong safety, weak safety situation. They stay on the same sides, and what they do is counteract the teams that put people in motion, that switching their tight ends. They always know where they are, and they don't have to switch back and forth.
Parsley back to do the punting on 4th and 13. Dayton moving up on it at the 25. Payton to the 30. And run out of bounds at the 37-yard line over in front of the Oiler bench across the way. 11 minutes, 27 seconds. Oiler fans are everywhere, and so are the signs supporting the Love You Blue gang. First down and 10. Minnesota Vikings have the lead, and the football at their 38. They played ball control on Houston most of the first half and lead it 6-3. They missed the extra point. Kramer comes out throwing on first down, and he's sacked for the first time this afternoon, back at the 31-yard line. Strong pass rush by the Houston Oilers this time, particularly Elvin Bethea, number 65.
Here's Kramer back now. The pass rush, watch Kennard, number 71. He's double-teamed, and that frees Bethea, who comes in, and Kramer sacked.
So a loss of the play of 7 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 17 as the Vikings are now back at their 31. Even the lone Viking has come down from the tundra. Minnesota with not too many fans except for Tommy Kramer's relatives here in the Astrodome. Ted Brown, 35-40. He's run well. Ripped out of bounds at the 46-yard line by Stemrick, number 27.
Well, the Vikings have really done well in the long passing situations. The Oilers bring in 4 defensive linemen, and of course their job is to rush the passers. 2nd and 14, 2nd and 15, and Brown has been able to run the ball in that down. Getting good yardage. 3rd and 2.
Ball is at the 45-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. 3rd down and 2. A little confusion now whether or not the Vikings are going to go with a short yardage offense here, their regular offense. Rashad comes out of the game, so they go with the double tight end setup on 3rd and 2 at their own 45. Brown has now rushed for 51. Brown trying to get outside and does so. I think he's got enough to pick up the 1st down at the 48-yard line.
He's got good speed to the outside. Got the 1st down.
Mike Reinfeldt, number 37, ran him out of bounds. Brown has been a difference in this game this afternoon. He is running yard for yard with Earl Campbell thus far. And, of course, hampered by injuries much of last season. But Grant and, of course, your old coach, Tom Landry, somewhat alike in personality.
They keep most everything inside, but they, like many games, has always come up with something. He can study those films of another team and come up with some great ideas.
Kramer again pursued out of the pocket by Washington.
Got a lot of room down that sideline.
He's still going. 5-30 and out of bounds.
They're going to put
the
him
20.
They're going to put him back about the 40, Frank.
They say he stepped out of bounds at the 40-yard line. We'll take a look at it.
See if we can see this here. He's got a play-action pass right there. He fakes. He looks at Rashad coming over the middle. He's not open. Breaks to the outside. He's got Miller, number 35, leading the way. He starts to go out of bounds right here. He looks like he might want to go out, and he sees, no, I'll cut back inside, and it's close. That left foot evidently might have hit the hash, or the out-of-bounds line there.
That cost him about 20 yards, of course. The official spotted at the 40, but it is a 1st down. This is the first time you and I have had a chance to see the Vikings this year. Kramer has really impressed me. He has learned, of course, at the feet of Fran Tarkenton and done his job well. 1st and 10. Vikings at the Oiler 40. They lead it 6-3, and they've controlled the football. Rolling out right, going back to Sensor, the tight end. He's in trouble behind the line of scrimmage. A drop for a loss of 4. Back at the 45 for an NFL update. Let's go to Brett Musburger in New York. Okay, Brett, 2nd down now, and 15 needed for the Minnesota Vikings. Loss of 5 on that attempted screen to Joe Sensor as the ball is now back to the 45-yard line.
Notice the Oilers only have 3 men in this time, so they're playing that run again.
Brown gets to the inside, goes back outside, and they can't stop him. He's down at the 34.
Well, they stopped the inside run, and Brown, with his great ability, saw what happened and scooted to the outside. But the Oilers kept the 3-man rush in. They were anticipating the run. Eddie Biles, their defensive coordinator, I'm sure, said, hey, let's look for the run this time. But he made a lot of that on his own. He started to go inside, but with his ability, broke back to the outside, and number 32, Vernon Perry, and 54, Bingham got him downfield.
3rd wide receiver Terry LeCount comes back out of the ball game, and Robert Miller replaces him. Vikings have activated young Willie Teal, their number 2 draft pick for this game. He's a defensive back and a good one. 3rd down and 4. Blitz. Kramer back to throw. Protection is good. One-on-one, Sammy White. And White must have lost the ball. He was way behind Vernon Perry.
Well, Kramer's mad at himself, too. He underthrew that. White broke wide open behind Perry, and he'll still see on this ISO, he still should have caught the ball. He just let it fall through. But I think Perry was a factor, but the ball was thrown short. Let me see the ISO to be sure, but I think he should have had this football.
They did a great job of picking up the blitz.
Right there, he threw his arms up, and White lost it, but he could have caught it. Perry made a nice play trying to throw his arms up.
So that sets a 4th down now.
As a quarterback, though, boy, Frank, excuse me, yeah, you get so mad at yourself when you underthrow a ball like that. That's what Kramer, he's mad at himself.
4th down and 4. They're going for it from the 34-yard line. Crowd is on its feet, exhorting the Oiler defense to hold him. Kramer, sideline throw, and they've got a 1st down to White. Out of bounds at the 23. Oiler defense appears to be a little befuddled. Crowd was on its feet, exhorting them to stop them. They had 4 yards to go, and they made it look easy.
Well, he's got a quick out to the outside, and the Oilers, with the backs that Minnesota have, they have to play the backs man-to-man. So you have to play the wide receivers normally man-to-man, and of course he's got man-to-man J.C. Wilson out there, and it's tough to stop that. White made a good play to the outside, and Kramer put it on the money.
Rashad is wide to the right side. Sandy White is split to the left. He's got Stembrick. Nose on him.
Here's the blitz. 2 men up the middle.
Kramer rolling to his right, going to Rashad. He's got it at the 7 and goes out of bounds at that point. J.C. Wilson, number 33, was back with him.
You got 2 linebackers coming up the middle this time, and there still were 2 linebackers and your secondary, so there was help by Reinfeldt here. J.C. Wilson thought he had help downfield, but Reinfeldt got over there a little bit late, and Wilson lost the ball.
Rashad has been hurting of late, did not practice at all before the Cleveland game, but had that great day against the Browns, catching 9. He's still hurting a little bit coming into this game.
Rashad's the kind of guy, though, when the ball's not thrown well, it's behind or high, he's the kind of guy that can twist around with his athletic ability and make great catches out of poorly thrown balls.
Officials mark it at the 4. It's 1st and goal to go. Kramer back to throw. That's Joe Sensor, the tight end, and he is over for a touchdown. Well, that long stretch will help you when you're as big as this guy is. He's a former basketball player.
Well, it's the same play they tried earlier. They fake off tackle here, and Perry's out there in pretty good shape. Doesn't fool many people. Sensor catches the ball right here, but he's got a man right in front of him. Perry's right there to stop him, but Sensor cuts back inside and
watch him use that 6'4", huh?
Stretches right there for the touchdown.
6 feet 4 inches, and he needed every inch of it. It was Ted Brown who was shaken up on the play. Ted Brown, the fine running back of the Minnesota Vikings, is down in the field. Timeout is called with 8 minutes 40 seconds left in the half, and the Vikings leading 12-3. A look at that last play, and keep in mind now that Ted Brown was hurt.
We're looking at Brown mainly. Sensor does catch the touchdown, but Brown, it looks like well, number 82 fell on the back of his leg. Who was Bob Brewer was in the game. Number 82 fell on the back of his leg, and Brown has been helped off the field. It looks like his knee or the bottom of his leg that was hurt.
That's a costly thing for the Vikings, certainly, if he's injured.
That's what they don't want, is an injury going into the playoffs, and especially to Brown.
Dan Meyer to try the extra point. His first one was blocked straight up the middle. This one is good. So the Vikings mount their lead to 13-3, but concern on the Viking bench for the condition of running back Ted Brown, who is injured. It's rather amazing the way Cincinnati treats Cleveland every year. A lot of attention for Ted Brown and the Viking bench, as you would suspect. Dan Meyer kicking off high, a little bit short, coming down to Groth, Jeff Groth. Back to the 15 and gets across the 20, and that's about it. Brown up to this point and rushed 10 times for 66 yards. A great first half, and caught 1 pass for 11. They seem to be working on his ankle a little bit earlier. Obviously, he seems to be a little bit easier as far as comfort goes right now as he talks things over with Tommy Kramer.
He's got everybody over there. That Bud Grant was over there talking to him. Tommy Kramer. This man right here in the last 6 games has gone over 100 yards total with passing and rushing, and he's got 846 yards rushing for the season, 61 receptions before today, and he'll add to that rushing mark also.
Oilers trailing 13-3, 1st and 10 from their 20. The Snake comes out throwing. Fine catch by Barber, who one-handed it over on the far sideline. And though it was a great catch, he didn't make but about a yard or 2 in the play. Sprained ankle, apparently, is the word from the bench on Ted Brown, and will not see any more action. Mike Barber, who has more catches than any other tight end in the history of the Houston Oilers. In fact, the 58 that Barber has caught this year tops all tight ends. Cincinnati leading Cleveland 10-0. Again, keep in mind, if the Browns lose, the Oilers win the division, regardless if they win or lose. Stabler over the middle for Barber. Intercepted. Nope. One of the officials ruling it's an incompleted forward pass. Back there defending was Matt Blair, number 59. Looked like he picked it out of the air, but the officials are saying no. So bring it back.
Here Stabler is trying to get in the middle of that zone. He's got the cornerbacks up, the safety's back, and he's got the tight end right down the middle and tries to drop it over those linebackers. But Matt Blair, number 59, is back in good shape, and he's tall too, and he gets up there, and Studwell gives a little crack in the back there, but Blair made the play, almost made the interception.
Blair is a Pro Bowler, an outstanding defensive star for the Minnesota Vikings for these many years. Oilers with their pass offense in now, 3rd and 9. Stabler, look out. Tossed down and tossed down hard on a fierce rush that time by Doug Martin, number 79, the rookie #1 draft choice of the Vikings. Treated old man that way.
Yeah, well, Martin's in there, number 79, in place of Randy Holloway. Martin just comes right through the line of scrimmage through Carter, and also Angelo Fields was blocking to the outside, and of course Martin went inside and trapped Stabler, and the fans don't like it either.
Parsley will be punting from 5 yards deep in the end zone. Keep in mind, the Vikings have blocked more kicks in recent years than any other team in pro football. 45 the last 5 years. Looked like Minnesota was offside. Parsley has no trouble getting it away. Fair catch signaled by Eddie Payton. I think Payton saw the flag and probably said to himself, why take some punishment needlessly since the penalty's against us anyway. 45 on the punt as the officials will talk it over. Offside, Minnesota. Unfortunately, since it was 4th and 21, it's not nearly enough. With 7 minutes and 12 seconds left to play in the first half. Vikings lead the Oilers. Great line of bowl games on CBS. We're looking forward to going out to El Paso in the Sun Bowl this weekend and joining our colleagues, Pat Summerall and Tom Brookshire, and see Jimmy Rogers and all of his friends out there. That's always the fun bowl. 1st and 10, Vikings at their 45. Houston, you saw decline the offside penalty, being satisfied with Parsley's punt. Kramer, he is mobile. Miller, the intended receiver.
Kramer does move well. He can roll out, and he can also scramble off of a broken play. This is designed as a play-action pass, and he follows out to the right. He sees nothing. He tries to scramble a little bit right here, and it's too late, but he prevents the trap by throwing it away.
First 8 games this year, Tommy Kramer threw 7 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. In the last 6, prior to this one, 10 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Yes, he's thrown 2 interceptions this afternoon, but he's been putting it in the air quite often.
It's a shotgun, Frank.
That looks familiar, doesn't it?
Misfired there. There's a legal procedure.
So. Flags all over the place. Yeah, that is an amazing stat last week. Kramer throwing 49 passes and not throwing an interception against Cleveland. Illegal procedure will cost the Vikings 5. The old cowboy shotgun showing up in the Astrodome.
Well, they don't have Brown now. He's on the sidelines, and
ball start.
we got
number 78, offense, 2nd down.
So they're going to the shotgun. They've used the shotgun, and it's been pretty effective for them this year, mainly in passing situations, 3rd down or 2nd long. And of course, today in the 2nd long situation, Brown's run the football, but without him, they're going to the shotgun.
2nd down, 15. Kramer back to throw it from the shotgun. Again, the rush is on. Somehow he gets it away. Sensor, the intended receiver, and he had all he could do to get that pass away. A tape job on the sidelines being applied to Tim Wilson, the Oiler running back.
A big Jesse Baker, who leads the Oilers in traps, number 75, and comes in on third downs, was back there as quick as Kramer got the ball.
That'll set up a third down and 15 for the Vikings from their 40-yard line. Actually, the nose of the ball just inside the 40. Minnesota leading 13-3. It's been all Vikings so far. Again from the shotgun. Kramer steps up in the pocket. Beautiful defensive play intended for Terry LeCount, and Vernon Perry, number 32, made the play and may have injured himself. He's limping off. And Perry was shaken up after making that fine play.
Well, here's the play. We can see the secondary, and Kramer's back in the shotgun. He drills the ball in here real well to Sammy White. He's coming around Vernon Perry, but Perry's got help deep, so he can take a chance on the inside. You see Tatum back there, number 28, deep, and he just makes a fine play on a pass that was well thrown. He drilled it in there, but he got that hand out in front and hurt his ankle in doing so.
4th and 15. Greg Coleman into punt for the first time, by the way. And Carl Roaches, the little man, is deep for the Houston Oilers. Beautiful high kick. Backing Roaches up inside the 10. He fields it at the 6. And is torn down at about the 5-yard line. Never had a chance to get going as Terry LeCount, number 80, was down there quickly covering for the Minnesota. Well, somebody apparently woke up the Patriots down at the Superdome. 14 points in the second period. Now they're ahead of the Saints 17-10. And Cleveland has scored in the second quarter, narrowing that deficit to 10-7. Cincinnati's still leading. Our score 13-3. Minnesota with the lead. Oilers with the ball, 1st and 10, backed up to their 5-yard line. Campbell, who's had a good rest, picks up a first down. He just destroys people as he moves up the middle, out across the 15 to the 17.
That's what they've got to do. It's Campbell right up the middle this time. He's got good blocking by Wilson, number 45. Watch the lead block right there. He gets in the way of people, then he makes a block before Matt Blair, number 59, comes over, and Fred McNeil, 54, makes the tackle. Stabler's going to have to stay with Campbell. He had 50 yards for 7 attempts, and he's got to keep running Campbell.
And nothing else has worked so far. Campbell out to the 23-yard line. Let's have another NFL update. Los Angeles bombed Dallas the other night. 2nd and 5. Stabler back to throw. Protection is good. Sideline toss complete for Renfro at the 30. And Renfro is out to the 37-yard line. Mike Renfro, whose dad used to coach you at the Cowboys.
Ray Renfro was a great receiver with Cleveland, was our coach in Dallas a few years back, and he's got a son that can catch the football. Here's the play. It's a play-action pass. He's got Wilson out in the flat. Renfro's running a deep comeback route on Bobby Bryant is kind of a cluer. He looks at the quarterback. He thought Renfro was going deep. He saw Stabler looking downfield. Renfro broke back to the sideline and made a fine gain for Houston.
First down, Oilers at their 37-yard line. The fake to Campbell. Stabler, again with good protection, goes over the middle to Casper. And Casper takes it to the 50 and into Minnesota territory to the 48-yard line. And finally, the Oilers have some semblance of a drive working for the first time today. Studwell, 55, the middle linebacker in the stop.
Well, this is vintage Houston right now. Again, it's the play-action fake to Campbell. Gets the linebacker's hold a little bit. And then he's got Casper breaking free. He breaks around Studwell. And that's what Houston does best. Run Campbell, fake to Campbell, and throw the passes to the tight ends, and every once in a while to their wide receiver.
First down, Houston at the Minnesota 48. 4 minutes left in the first half. Campbell, 45, bounces off a tackle. 40, 35, what a run. First down at the 33.
Well, you run out of superlatives for Earl. You just take him for granted a lot of times.
He's hurting. Earl Campbell was shaken up on that 13-yard run and will need some medical attention. And I don't care what Bum Phillips says. You know, you run this guy as often as he does, and he's got to run out sooner or later. You got to burn him out.
Well, Bum's in a quandary. Bum, he runs 35 times a game, and people say he's running too much. He runs 25 times a game. They're saying, Bum, why aren't you running more? So Bum wants to keep him healthy. He likes Earl. He likes him as a person. He likes him as a player also, but he's the bread and butter of the Houston Oilers. Here it is. It's a rollback here. He's got Wilson leading inside, and he rolls it back to the offside. Fred McNeil, 54, misses a block. Bobby Bryant's downfield. Bobby says, well, Earl, I'll give you the shoulder. I'll let the big guy clean up.
Alley's on his feet. He'll get a breather. He has now rushed 10 times for 79 yards. If he rushes as many as 26 times this afternoon, he will set a new NFL record for most carries in a single season. First down. Oilers with the ball just inside the Viking 35. They've got Rob Carpenter in that backfield with Wilson now. 3 minutes, 22 seconds left in the half.
Comes a blitz from the outside.
Look out.
That's safety blitz. Linebackers, you only have 4 people downfield.
Stabler dropped back near the 45-yard line. Loss of something like 10 on that play. Take some of the steam out of that drive.
Well, that's a good defensive call. They had Curtin off, number 25, the safety. He was sneaking up there, and he did come on the blitz, and no one blocked him.
That sets up a second down and 21 as Campbell comes back into the lineup.
You know what happens inside the line also when they see a safety blitz and they're blocking on their man, they say, oh, daggone, should I be out there blocking on him? And then they don't do a good job on their own man.
Oh, daggone is what they say?
I've heard them say that.
Second and 21.
And a few other things.
Campbell caught from behind. Fine defensive play this time by Matt Blair, number 59, the Pro Bowl linebacker.
Matt Blair is all over the field today. He smelled out the screen. He's been back in good pass coverage. He's made some excellent tackles.
He and Rashad are the 2 Viking representatives on the Pro Bowl team. How would you like to play with this 2 tight end offense as a quarterback?
Oh, I wouldn't. It takes away the ability to open up. But again, with someone like Campbell, you have 2 good, fine tight ends. It's a ball control offense, and I don't particularly like the ball control offense.
Third and 22. Campbell is out in the passing situation. Stabler evades the rush, gets the ball away to Carpenter, but not much there as he advances to the 41-yard line.
Well, Houston has had Burrows hurt all year. He's a big play man, and with Burrows and Renfro in there, I'm sure they'd be using the wide receivers more than they do right now.
That sets up a 4th down. They're out of field goal range, so the punting unit will come on. And we're down to the 2-minute warning. Exactly 2 minutes left to play in the first half here at the Astrodome. Minnesota Vikings have dominated throughout. They lead the Oilers 13-3.
For most of us, scouting means camping out, fun and games. But today it's a lot more. I'm Gifford Nielsen of the Houston Oilers. Here in Houston, I'm a volunteer scout leader and very proud of these young scouts. And like scouts everywhere, they're supported by your contributions to the United Way. Tell me how to do it. They do more than just earn merit badges. What are we doing? These scouts are helping a handicapped troop learn to cope with the world, despite the fact that some of them are blind. Scouting does a lot for the community because scouting means involvement in the community. How you doing, Troy? Let me see that knot you just tied. Oh, that's a good knot. I believe it's important for a young boy or girl to learn the values that will help them out for the rest of their lives. Swear not, huh? That's what the United Way is all about. Sharing because you care. Thanks to them, it works here.
Thanks to you, it works for all of us. The United Way. Right, gang?
Right! What are you doing, hogging my lines?
Uh-huh.
Preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League.
I talked to Earl about the punishment he takes and how he trains for it.
I really feel great, you know. I feel a lot better this year than I have in the past 2 years, you know. I'm kind of surprised. I was talking to one of the guys on the teams about that the other day. I really feel great.
new as a pass receiver, Earl. You've got 10 passes this year. Do you want to be more a part of the pass offense, or is it just are you just...
Back to play we go. 4th down now. 16 needed for the first down. Oilers in a punt formation with Parsley to do the kicking. Earl didn't make all pro as a pass receiver. I'll tell you that. Payton letting this one go, and it bounces at the 5, and now they're trying to tip it back unsuccessfully. Back into the field of play was Tim Smith. 40-yard punt. Touchback. And the Vikings will take over at the 20. Well, that's the closest thing to a drive we've seen from the Oilers this afternoon.
Well, they've had poor field position in the second quarter, but the first quarter they were set up with a Vernon Perry interception and also an onside kick that didn't work. So they've had their chances and have not done a good job moving the football.
You know, why is it with so much at stake? Houston's trailing, you know, New England was trailing New Orleans, Cleveland's behind Cincinnati. The teams that have so much at stake are having such a tough time against the lesser lights. Because we have nothing at stake.
I wish I knew.
It's weird.
Can't figure it out.
It's been a wacko year in the National Football League, particularly the AFC. Totally unpredictable. Kramer. Fine catch by Doug Pascal, who has replaced Brown in the starting lineup, and Pascal takes it out to the 30-yard line before he's run out of bounds. Close to 10 yards. Right at 10 on that play. So there's Brown's replacement. We won't be seeing any more of Ted this afternoon because of that ankle sprain. Pascal is 6'1 and a half, 219, and a rookie from North Carolina. Of course, Brown came from North Carolina State. Penalty yardage being walked off against the Minnesota Vikings.
Number 85, offense, first down.
Illegal motion against the Minnesota Vikings. Sammy White moves it back to the 15-yard line. Now first down, 15.
Minnesota won the division. That's a real plus. Brown on the sidelines. He's got an extra week of rest. I'm sure that ankle's going to be in a lot of ice and a lot of whirlpool.
Tommy Kramer with a very active afternoon so far in his first professional appearance in Houston. Pascal getting the call, fighting his way across the 15 out to the 17-yard line. Coming up at halftime, just a minute and 35 seconds away, the NFL Today crew, Brent and Irv in New York, give you a rundown and all the scores and highlights, previews. We've got it all for you at halftime on the NFL Today. And being this is the holiday season, we're just 4 or 5 days from Christmas. We'd like to take this opportunity to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from the Gleebers and the Staubachs as well.
I second that.
Mr. Brown is really taking it easy on the bench.
Oh, he's got his ankle. They've got it elevated there. Ice on it.
Tommy Kramer from San Antonio, Texas. Played for a very pass-oriented team when Ray Auburn was throwing the football here in Rice. They have since shifted to a more ground-oriented attack. And this guy had pro quarterback written all over him from the time he played at high school at San Antonio. Played in an ideal offense at Rice at the time, prepping him for the Vikings, and then, of course, understudied Fran Tarkenton for several years. This, of course, is a doubleheader Sunday on CBS. We've got a great treat for you in the second game this afternoon as the Dallas Cowboys take on the Philadelphia Eagles. I guess I've asked everyone else, what do you think happened to the Cowboys last Monday night? I've never seen anything like that this late in the year.
Well, the big thing was LA's offense did an excellent job pass protecting against Dallas's front four, which is such a strength on defense, and their wide receivers had a chance to work a little bit. They hit some big plays, and it was over before it got started.
And all they got to do is beat the Eagles by 26 today, and they win the division. That's all. Second and 14. Miller out across the 20 to the 22. Vikings are obviously trying to run out the clock. And the Oilers want one more shot at it. They called another timeout. They have one left. That stops the clock with 1 minute and 29 seconds left to play in the first half. Vikings leading by a score of 13-3 so far. Of course, the Oilers, you really can't say what's going to happen to them. So much can happen today, even tomorrow night in the San Diego-Pittsburgh game. All that may have a bearing on whether the Oilers will be in the playoffs, out of the playoffs,
They
wild
can't worry
card,
about
division
that.
champion?
They can't worry about that, and that might be a problem. The unknown. They got to go out and play Minnesota. They got to play their best game of the season and beat Minnesota. That's what they have control of, and that's what athletes like. They like to control their own situation, their own destiny, and they can do it today, and so far they have not. They have not played a good football game, and they have been very sporadic, both on offense and defense.
Old Bum kind of reminds you of Tom Landry, doesn't he?
Yeah, they wear a hat, except when he's in the Astrodome.
That's right. But not today.
Both great coaches, though. They're both great coaches. Bum Phillips has got that dry sense of humor, but I'll tell you, he's a competitor inside, just like Tom Landry has got that solemn look, but he's a competitor inside, and they're both knowledgeable coaches and have both been very successful. Of course, Coach Landry's been out longer.
That's all the Oilers have to do here is look at the scoreboard. They can see what you just saw, that Cincinnati is still leading Cleveland 10-7 with that game in the second period. Again, if Cincinnati wins that game, the Oilers win the division, regardless of whether they win or lose today. Pascal after the 24, short of the first down. And one more time, the Oilers will call timeout. That will erase their final timeout, stopping the clock with 1:25 seconds to go. And Houston will get the football back, have time for the punt return, and of course a chance to run off a couple of plays.
You talk about great coaches, and Bum Phillips has really brought this Oiler team at the top of the heap for the last how many years. And across the sidelines, there's Bud Grant over there. Bud has only won 11 out of the last 13 division championships for Minnesota. He was very successful in Canada. And since he's been here with the National Football League, he is right up there in the top 10 as far as wins by the coaches all time.
He is 9th right now on the NFL list, and if you count the victories that he accrued as a head coach up in Canada, he would actually be 2nd on the all-time win mark for professional coaches. Coleman back to do the punting. Think they'll rush him here or play for the return?
I think they'll go for the return and try and get good field goal range or possibility to throw a few in the end zone to score.
Stabler, of course, can work that clock with the best of them.
Just like I said, they went for the rush.
That's what they did. Leaving Roaches all by his lonesome as he makes the catch on the 30. 35, not quite the 35-yard line. Dropped him at the 33. Now you watch Stabler in operation with no timeouts and 1:15 seconds to go, and how many plays he can get in here. Larry Broom making the stop for the Minnesota Vikings.
Well, 1:15, no timeouts left. Everybody guards the sidelines, but with 1:15, I'd go deep over the middle for about 20 to 25 yards. Hustle up there, throw one out of bounds, and then you can pick and choose.
And Stabler looking toward the sideline, decided to go over the middle, but threw it at the feet of Dave Casper, the intended receiver, number 87.
He was going for the 10 to 12-yard range again, which isn't going to help a whole lot right now with no timeouts left, because they're going to have to run up and set up and lose 20 to 25 seconds. They need to hit the big one over the middle.
That stops it with 1:10 left to play. 2nd down 10. Oilers have won all 3 of their interconference games this season. Done very well against NFC foes. 14 wins in their last 18 games. Stabler going for all of it this time. Billy White Shoes Johnson is out there. Battle for the ball. Incomplete.
Well, Bobby Bryant's mad at himself. He had the ball, dropped it. Looks like he caught it again out of bounds.
Oh, White Shoes limping back to the huddle. That'll set up 3rd and 10 with 1:03. White Shoes will be excused since he is limping. He heads over to the sidelines, and instead Groth, number 81, replaces him at a wide receiver position. Jeff Groth, who the Oilers obtained from Miami earlier in the year. 3rd down 10. Stabler flagged down. Stabler wriggles free, completes the pass to Rich Pastor at the 50-yard line. But there was a penalty marker thrown at Stabler's feet. And we got a hold coming up against Houston, which will wipe that out. A fairly long afternoon for the Snake and his friends offensively. They haven't had the football that much. They've had only one decent drive. Their only score came. Perry intercepted a pass, took it down to the 4, and all they got out of that was a field goal. Walk off by Pat Haggerty, the referee. And the call.
Holding, number 76, offense.
Very costly penalty called on Morris Towns, number 76. See if we can pick it up here.
See if we can see the holding.
There's Towns on the left of your screen.
Yeah, he's got him a little bit. When that left arm there, when he started to grab with that left arm, and well, he tackled him too.
Third 20. And they go with a running play to Rob Carpenter. Not enough for the first down. He got it back to the original line of scrimmage. And it'll be 4th and 10. And now the Vikings will call timeout with 44 seconds left in the first half. They want the opportunity to at least run a punt back or attempt to block a punt, which, as we mentioned earlier, they are the masters thereof. Of course, Alan Page, you know, was the premier blocker in the league, kick blocker. Did it again yesterday against Tampa. Eddie Payton will be deep. That's Jerry Burns on the sideline, isn't it?
That's Jerry right there. He's come down to the sidelines before the half.
Offensive coordinator several years ago, head coach at Iowa. And Stabler. Earl Campbell on the sidelines.
Andy Burrow next to him.
Of course, they may get Burrow back here in a week or two for the playoffs, provided they're in it.
Can't worry about that. They got to worry about the second half. They might not need him in 2 weeks.
Parsley standing back on his 20. 44 seconds. Here come the Vikings.
Good rush. He got it off.
Payton makes the catch at the 28. Free out to the 30 to the 35-yard line. Now Minnesota has a couple of timeouts left. They have a chance to move the football. 39 on the punt. As Tommy Kramer goes back to work. Outstanding first half for the former Rice star. He completed 38 against Cleveland last week. It was the second highest one-game completion total in NFL history. First down, Vikings at their 35-yard line, leading 13-3. Before what's been an unusually quiet crowd here in the Astrodome. They haven't had much to cheer about. Ahmad Rashad on the reception goes out of bounds at the 43-yard line, stopping the clock with 28 seconds to go. Well, might they try squadron right again just for old time's sake?
Well, if they get up to around midfield, it can't hurt anything. 28 seconds to go. It's a possibility.
That play, you know, they overload the right side with receivers, and a couple of receivers have the job strictly of getting downfield and tipping the ball, keeping it in play. 2nd and 3. Kramer, good protection. Pass a little bit high and intercepted. For the Houston Oilers. J.C. Wilson at the 50, 45, 40, out of bounds at the 37.
Rashad had a big hole in there, and the ball was just too high. He got one hand on it, and once it's tipped up in the air, of course, that's what defensive backs work on. Here we see it again. He's got a good hole. He gets hit by Stemrick right there. Stemrick's run with him, but he breaks to the inside, as we see right here, and now we can pick him up. The ball is thrown a little bit high, but he's wide open. You get that left hand on it. J.C. Wilson's waiting for the ball and makes a nice run back, and one pass here, and we're in field goal range.
First down at the 37-yard. What do you mean we're in field goal range? Is that your old Texas bias coming out there?
No, it's not biased at all in this game.
Stabler goes long. He's got Casper. Has Casper down to the 3. They have no timeouts left. No timeouts left. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. They'll never get it off. Time has expired. Time has expired here in the first half. Oilers needed 1 timeout and didn't get it.
Biggest play of the half, all for naught.
So we're at halftime with the Minnesota Vikings leading the Houston Oilers 13-3. Roger Staubach and I'll be back at the Astrodome in just a few minutes. Only one of those have come back to haunt him when the Oilers did punch up the field goal by Tony Fritsch. As far as Ken Stabler is concerned, he's hit 7 out of 14 for 75 yards, been sacked a couple of times, and has not had a pass intercepted. So it is clutch time now for the Houston Oilers. If they want to get into the playoffs, the only sure way they know is to win this football game against the Minnesota Vikings. Not going to even try to get into that because so many variables are at stake. Growth is deep for the Oilers. Fields it at the 10. 15, 20, 25, and torn down. And there's going to be a face mask involved there at the 27-yard line. So you can tack 15 yards out to that, which will move the Oilers out to about the 42. Growth getting up a bit slowly. I tell you that, you'd hate to see that because that could obviously be a very serious injury anytime you get involved in that face mask situation.
Personal foul, deliberate face mask.
There it is right there. That is deliberate.
Eddie Payton, number 31, guilty of the infraction. So the officials move it out to the 43. Time is still out as they work on young Jeff Growth, who has come along very nicely for this ball club this year after being obtained from Miami. He has filled in various capacities, including specialty teams, and performed his duties very well. Timeout here at the Dome. We'll be back in just a moment.
You would even say it close all of the other rain.
Growth being tended to on the sidelines and being removed from the field. As he walked off, he was limping, which would indicate that the face mask probably wasn't the most serious problem. Looked like he might have hurt his hip. First down. Oilers up the football following the 15-yard penalty at their 43, and they give it to Campbell, who had 81 yards rushing in the first. He carries for another 5 out to the 48-yard line. Don't forget the doubleheader game on CBS. Most of you watching will see Dallas, Philadelphia. And for those of you who won't be watching the Cowboys and the Eagles, we have Atlanta and Los Angeles. So the game that means most in your market will be coming your way as the second half of the CBS doubleheader. Second down, 5. Stabler out to Wilson. Wilson at the 50, 45. Tim Wilson is down to the 43.
Now Stabler is using the first play, of course, with Campbell setting up the play action here to Wilson. This is a big drive. This is a key drive for Houston. They were flat at the towards the end of the half. They hit Casper on the big play. They didn't have enough time to run another play, but they had at least a positive spark at the end of the half, and they're continuing that spark right now.
First and 10 at the 43-yard line to the Minnesota Vikings on the delay. Campbell stopped at the line of scrimmage.
Good job by McNeil. McNeil was right out there, and he was in containment.
What effect do you feel that pass to Casper right at the end of the first half will have on the club? Will that help him?
Well, it's a positive thing. Anything before the half that gets you in the locker room with a little upbeat mood can be a factor. Can be a positive factor. How much this drive could indicate.
Second and 9. Give Campbell one of the play. Ball is at the 42-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. Renfro is wide to the left side. He's the only wide receiver as they go with this 2 tight end offense. Wilson and Campbell at a setback. Stabler on the blitz. Gets it away. Near sideline. Complete. And out of bounds to Rich Castor. At the 27-yard line. Kind of a forgotten man in the Houston offense this year. The former Jet wide receiver.
Well, here's Stabler back, and as you see, it is a blitz. You got Studwell coming up the middle, and Stabler hangs in the pocket. He's got Turner now as man-to-man with the blitz. He has no help underneath. He has no help in the middle, so he favored the inside. And, of course, Castor broke it to the outside, and that's the weakness on that defense when the blitz is to the outside because the cornerbacks have to worry about the middle of the field.
15-yard pickup of the play and a first down for the Oilers at the 27-yard line of the Minnesota Vikings. Oilers on the move. Campbell stopped behind the line. That's one of the few times this year you're going to see that guy stop one-on-one. It was Fred McNeil, number 54, who did it.
Interesting tactic. Bud Grant said we're going to try to stop Campbell from going inside and force him outside, but yet we have small cornerbacks, Bryant and Turner, so they're getting help with the linebackers. They're trying to pinch the line inside to hold Campbell from going inside. When they go outside, they want the linebackers, McNeil and McFlair, to make the plays, and of course McNeil's made 2 of them in this drive here.
Loss of the play of 3 yards. It is second down 13 for the Oilers at the 30-yard line. Again, they come with the blitz. Good protection. That's Casper at the 15, the 10, and down to the 6.
Well, if you don't put pressure on the quarterback when you blitz, it's tough because those defensive backs know they have to take people man-to-man all over the field. Here you got excellent protection. Of course, Casper's going across the field on Hannon, and it's tough to take Casper man-to-man, especially when they give the quarterback that kind of time. Number 45 pulls him down, but it's too late.
Tommy Hannon on the stop. It's a 23-yard pickup and a first down, and the officials mark it at the Vikings 7, and all of a sudden, the Astrodome is rocking. Stabler is now 10 out of 17 for 122 yards. Stabler wants to throw for 6, gets it away. That's a touchdown.
Play. Renfro was coming inside, kind of shielded off the linebacker who had Casper to the corner, and Casper broke free, and Stabler hit him.
Oilers scoreboard lights up. Look at it again.
Here we can see Casper's to the left over there. He's going to the corner. Renfro's coming inside and kind of shields off either McNeil or Hannon. And of course, the Casper breaks free right there. Kurt Knopf got over there late. He had no help from the linebacker who was shielded off by Renfro.
Fritz to try the extra point. 13-9, and one more makes 10. Dave Casper scoring the Oilers' first touchdown of the afternoon. And we've got a ball game with 11 minutes and 27 seconds left to play in the third period. The Oilers are within 3 of the Vikings.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire.
Payton at the 5. Up the middle behind the wedge, and he is upended. Great hit. Number 42 of the Oilers deserves mention, and that's Booby Clark, the former Cincinnati Bengal.
The specialty teams really set a tempo early in the game. In fact, the opening kickoff, the specialty teams didn't hustle down there. Minnesota brought the ball out to about the 38-yard line. Now they're really hustling, and it makes a difference. They set a tempo. They set a tone for a game, and the second half they've set a tone right here after a fine touchdown drive.
That roar you heard just a moment ago was the Cincinnati-Cleveland score going up as the Bengals have scored in the third period and now lead Cleveland by 7. Kramer back to throw it. Pascal out to the 30-yard line and catapults up to the 33. Doug Pascal getting a lot of work this afternoon with Ted Brown being injured. A rookie from North Carolina. Officials mark it at the 33-yard line. Minnesota has had little trouble moving the football this afternoon. First down for the Vikings. White is wide to the left side. Stemrick picks him up. Rashad wide to the right for Rashad. Rashad makes the catch at the 50. And they say he went out of bounds right at that point. So bring it back.
Holy cow, that was a That was a big call.
A huge collective sigh of relief by 46,000 people here.
Kramer was throwing the ball into the zone. He had the J.C. Wilson was up dogging Rashad on top of him, and then Reinfeldt was back. Reinfeldt got over there late. J.C. Wilson tried to make the play. Of course, Rashad again catches the ball in some tough situations, but his left foot was out of bounds. Still a fine catch.
And a 17-yard pickup, and yet another Viking first down. Pro Bowler Ahmad Rashad. Another sensational year. Great game last week. 9 touchdowns. This year, caught 63 coming into this game for 1,019 yards. Second year in a row he's been over 1,000 receiving. Here's Robert Miller to about the 47, got a couple of yards, and that's it. Stacked up by the middle of the Houston Oilers defensive line. And Miller will come out as he's replaced by a third wide receiver, Terry LeCount, number 80. One-time San Francisco 49er. 9 minutes, 55 seconds. Left to play, the lonesome Viking here at the Astrodome. Second and 6. Kramer. Downfield for Sensor, who can't reach it. Defending against him was number 53, your old friend Thomas Henderson, the former Dallas Cowboy.
And Thomas has really done a good job for the Oilers here lately. In the last few games, he was on injured reserve. He got hurt against Kansas City, but he's come back in and has played well and made some big plays for Houston. Here's Kramer now. He scrambles out of the pocket. He's got big 65, Elvin Bethea, breathing down his back, and he's got good maneuverability, some good quickness, and he gets rid of the ball at the last second. Sensor kind of stops. He really stopped short, and the ball was thrown deeper than he expected.
It is third down. The Vikings need 7 for the first down with the ball at the Houston 47 and the fans chanting defense. From the shotgun, Tommy Kramer backs up to throw, just floats it out there, but over the intended receiver, Terry LeCount, number 80. And again, Kramer's a little hot at himself because he had him. How could I miss that, he says, right?
Threw a little bit quick. It's high and hard.
Punting situation now for the Vikings, but Grant and Kramer talking it over. 4th down, 7. Coleman in to do the punting, and the little man, Carl Roaches, the Roadrunner, is deep for the Houston Oilers, standing at the 10. to 10. Vikings lead. Midway in the third period at the Astrodome. 10 men on the line of scrimmage. Now the Oilers peel back, going for the return. Fair catch. Roaches lets it go over his head. Takes a Viking bounce at the 5 and is down at the 7. So the Oilers wind up with poor field position. Coleman very happy about it. Yes, sir, that's exactly where I wanted to put it. Little backspin, and there it was. 13 to 10. Minnesota will be back at the Astrodome right after this. Back to work go the Houston Oilers, trying to duplicate their touchdown drive of a moment ago, which would put them ahead for the first time in this game. They have a first down at their own 6-yard line. Campbell staying low to the ground, gets it across the 10 out to the 14. I don't think he was more than a foot off the ground after he hit the line.
It's like he tripped a little bit, and he just decided to stay down there after he tripped. Right here, he's got Wilson leading, and he just puts his head down and blasts right up the middle for about 9 or 10 yards. It's 9.
Second down. Long yard needed for the first down. Earl now 14 carries for 92 yards. Well, he takes a lot of punishment, and he deals a lot out.
There's only 9 guys in on that pile-up right there.
Cleveland has come back to tie Cincinnati in the third period, 17 all. Again, if the Browns win, they win the division. And the best the Oilers can do is wild card. If the Browns lose, the Oilers win the division. Win or lose here in the Astrodome today. Don't ask me why, but that's the way it works out. A lot of strange things at work today in the tiebreakers. First down. Oilers from their 17. Stabler back to throw it. Protection is good. Sideline. Castor overthrown. Dog over there on the far sideline by Tommy Hannon, number 45. We get word from the Oiler bench is that Castor is now the other half of that double tight end combination, replacing Mike Barber, who came into the ball game with the flu and apparently is not feeling well, though he is on the sidelines and may come back later. Castor has been in there. That's a pair of bookends, isn't it? Casper and Castor. Second and 10. Campbell stretching out to the 23. 4-5 yards of the play. Be third down 5. There's Mike Barber, number 86, leading tight end receiver-wise in the NFL this year, although he did not make the Pro Bowl team. Casper did make it. Casper's had a fine year, but many times, particularly in the case of offensive linemen, those Pro Bowl votes go on the basis of past reputation, wouldn't you say?
Well, of course, Casper's made some big plays here towards the end of the season, some national TV games he was on, and he's had a great year, so they're both fine tight ends, but you have Winslow at San Diego was the other one.
Another blitz, and they give it to Campbell, and Campbell has the first down. He's loose at the 35, 40, 50, 45. Campbell with a 35 at Minnesota.
Well, there was an excellent block of Bobby Bryant, and I believe it was Casper that made the block. Bobby Bryant had the only shot at him to keep him within the 50-yard line. Once that block was made, Campbell rambled for another 20 yards.
41 yards on the pickup, and this crowd's going wild.
And he rolls it off the draw play right here. He looks for daylight, finds it inside. Missed tackle by Hannon, who was blitzing. He gets to the outside. Renfro, number 82, made that block. He skirts down the sideline. Finally, John Turner from the other side makes the play.
Campbell now with 143 yards rushing. Stabler back to throw. Intercepted. Threw it right into the arms of Matt Blair, number 59, and that takes care of that drive as tempers flare.
Well, Stabler had Renfro on a down and in pattern. There was really no back out in the flat to take Blair, so Blair came off late. He didn't even see Blair, and Blair made the interception.
That was a promising Houston drive.
Here we see the replay. You're in that I formation. There's nobody to influence Blair out there. Wilson goes inside. Blair is all by himself. When Renfro comes down and in, he just comes off a little bit late, and he has nobody to pick up in the flat, so he makes the interception. And really was a poorly designed play from that I formation. It had no one to influence the linebacker.
First down at the 30-yard line. 6 minutes, 35 seconds left to play in the third period. Kramer back to throw it, and it's picked off by Houston. Fourth interception of the day by the Oilers, and Thomas Henderson makes the big play. First down, Oilers at the 38.
Well, it is a big play, too, a key play. Kramer's going to throw it out to the sideline. It's off of a play-action fake. Henderson is zipping out there to play underneath coverage, and Kramer doesn't get enough on it. Makes the play.
That's Henderson's first interception in a Houston uniform.
Jingle bells ring, snowing and blowing up over the farm. Now the jingle.
The ninth fake here. That's to hold the linebackers. Bingham goes with the play action, but Henderson has responsibility outside. He doesn't go for the fake. The fake was designed to beat Henderson from zipping out to the outside, and Henderson does a heck of a job and read the quarterback just right.
Now, Kramer's got into a very nasty habit, one that he had earlier this year and one that he's forgotten about for the last 6 games, throwing interceptions. Last 6 games, he had just 2. He's got 4 today. Oilers with a first down at the 40, and Campbell inside the 35 to the 34. I tell you, he's so impressive. Earl Campbell, the only unanimous choice this year for the Pro Bowl, And you are seeing why once again. He's over the 5,000 mark in career rushing. And Cleveland now has come from behind and for the first time taken the lead over the Cincinnati Bengals. That game is now gone into the final period. 24-17. Cleveland. They win it. It means the Oilers are then relegated to fighting for the wild card berth. 2nd and 5 from the 34. Campbell inside the 30, down to the 27. That's another first down.
Well, he is awesome, Frank, and you can compare people to Jimmy Brown, and Ted Brown has got that ankle problem, and he's on the sidelines in civilian clothes right now. But Campbell really is a legitimate comparison to Jimmy Brown. And Jimmy Brown averaged over 5 yards attempt, and all those yards for all those years. He could go 80 as well as 3 or 4 yards with power, and Campbell can do the same thing. He's big. He not only can go inside, he can go outside, and he can surpass Jimmy Brown if he can stay healthy.
And he has that same Brown knack of looking like he could never run another yard after he gets tackled, but then gets up and off he goes. Wilson taking the handoff this time inside the 25 down to the 24.
That's a team man, Wilson, right there. He knows his job. His job is to run when Earl wants to rest and to block for Earl and catch the football. And he's a team man. In fact, last year when Earl got the MVP, he took Tim with him to a banquet in New York.
Earl also this year told his offensive linemen that if he broke last year's record, he would buy each of them expensive watches. It's going to cost him $21,000, it is said.
Earl forgot about inflation, though.
2nd down, 6. On the delay, Campbell inside the 20, first down. Oilers at the 15. Well, that puts him over 160 yards rushing on the afternoon. He needed 169 to hit 1,900 yards. Of course, the all-time single-season NFL rushing record is O.J. Simpson, and that is 2,003 yards. So he is 5 yards away from 1,900 right now. First down. Wilson inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. Oilers have had problems with the turnovers this year. 45, the second highest total in the NFL. Coming into this game, Vikings of Bud Grant dominated this contest in the first half. But it has turned around slowly but surely here in the third period. And the momentum certainly rides now with the Houston Oilers. 3 minutes left to go in the quarter. 2nd and 8 from the 14-yard line of the Vikings. Stabler looking for 6. Castor couldn't hold it. And defensively, number 45 somehow got his arm around him.
Hannon made a great defensive play right there. He got his arm around it just at the last second as Castor started to get his body in front of the ball. Hannon's arm came around and knocked it out.
You know, Campbell can block, too. He's an excellent blocker in addition to a fine runner.
Well, here's Campbell right here. Again, it's a pass where they keep both backs in. Campbell's in there blocking, and he's got a job to do right there, and he does it on Fred McNeil, the linebacker.
3rd and 8. They don't get it here. Fritsch will come out and try to tie it up. Stabler, good protection over the middle, almost intercepted. Intended for Carpenter. I know you quarterbacks just die when a ball is tipped, right? That's really...
Well, that's interception territory when those balls are tipped around. Here's a play right here. You've got both wide receivers are doubled. You got him. The cornerbacks are running with him. You got the safeties back. So he goes inside to Carpenter right there, who wasn't picked up. He was missed by from Blair this time, number 59, and he should have caught that football. It was catchable. It would have been a nice catch, but it was catchable.
All right, here's Fritsch. Gifford Nielsen to put it down at the 21, which will make it a 31-yard effort, and this will tie it up with 2:57 left to play in the third period. It's long enough. It's good. Take a bow.
You know, when Fritz kicks the ball, it looks like he's not following through. He's been injured recently, and people have said, well, he's not following through enough, but that's Fritz's style. He punches the ball. That's his job. That's the way he kicks. Watch him right here on his follow-through. It's not very much. He's looking down at the ball, and bam, watch that right leg come back quick.
Now watch him start leading the cheers for himself.
Head went up pretty fast. But
oh, yeah.
He's a character. He's a good guy, Tony Fritz. He's a lot of fun. He's a character. He loves to win. He loves to kick, and he just enjoys playing football.
I'll never forget the time at the Cowboys training camp at Thousand Oaks when he was out rather late one night trying to beat curfew. Had gotten a pizza for some of the troops and was stopped by the local gendarmes. And here is this guy about 5 feet 6 inches tall, talking in broken English, trying to convince the police that he was a professional football player with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah. You know, when he was with us, we'd go into a stadium, and sometimes they wouldn't let him go through with the team. They'd grab him off the side. Hey, don't try and sneak in with these guys. Of course, Bum is thankful, he said, that for the U.S. immigration laws getting Tony Fritz, because Tony's been a clutch kicker, and you saw what he did against Pittsburgh. He kicked the 2 big ones that night, and he's been a clutch man for him the last few years.
8-play drive for the Oilers that time. The deep man, Eddie Payton, as Fritz gets ready to kick off. We're tied. 2:54 left in the third period. In a game that means everything to the Houston Oilers. Payton at the 3. Up to the 10, 15, 20.
Good coverage, Frank. Good coverage.
Doubleheader game coming up on CBS right after this one. Stay tuned. You'll see either the Cowboys and the Eagles or the Falcons and the Rams, depending on which game happens to be more important in your particular market. That's a great CBS doubleheader. 20 yards on that kickoff return by Payton. Out to the 23-yard line. Very short drive set up by the pass interception by Thomas Henderson. Vikings offense has definitely taken a turn for the worse with Ted Brown out of there. Miller going on the reverse to Sammy White. White at the 20, 25, up to the 30-yard line, and has the first down at the 35. Worked very nicely.
That was a nice play at a good time. Minnesota turned the ball over. Houston had some momentum, and you come back with a reverse. It's a chancy play, but why not take a chance? Let's get something going. Here he comes back. Good block right there on Stemrick.
12-yard pickup on the play and a Minnesota first down, which quiets this boisterous crowd down a little bit. Total yardage is now almost even. Oilers 286, Vikings 236. Cleveland leading 24-17. Fourth period of that game at Cincinnati. Tommy Kramer throwing on the run, trying to hit White. He caught it out of bounds, I do believe, in front of the Oiler bench. First down's almost even. Vikings 17, Oilers 15. A minute 49 left in the third period. Of course, you didn't play the Oilers that much. Was there a big rivalry between the Cowboys and the Oilers, in your opinion, when you played?
Well, there is a big rivalry. Carl Malk has summed it up many times. He didn't like the Cowboys, and the thing in the 70s, Dallas kind of dominated victory-wise, but in the middle of the 70s when Bum Phillips got to Houston has been a very competitive team and a winning team, and the rivalry, it's a shame they don't play each other anymore, but the rivalry could be a very, very good one and a very bitter one.
Second and 10, Kramer over the middle to Robert Miller. Miller's hit at the 40 and dropped at that point.
Bitter, but I mean, all in good fun.
Well, certainly. And it says something for possible realignment eventually in the NFL. If you ever got Dallas and Houston in the same division, had a meeting twice every year, it would be dynamite.
Fans would love it.
Third down, Vikings need 5 for the first down at their 40-yard line. Big play for Minnesota in this drive. Tommy Kramer, who has been interception prone suddenly in this game, having thrown 4. Comes out. Extra wide receiver Terry LeCount is in. LeCount is wide to the right. They've got White and Rashad to the left. And Kramer in a crowd hits White. and almost broke it for the big one. He's tackled at the 45 of Houston, but that's a first down. He simply out-jumped the rest of the defenders, including Greg Bingham, who made the stop.
This is just a fine catch right here. I'm not even sure if White was the primary receiver, but Kramer looks out to the left and comes back inside a little bit to White. White makes a great leap for the ball, and he's got 2 men on him, Vernon Perry, and he wins the battle. He had Rashad on the sidelines, and he was probably looking at Rashad first and came back to White.
Big third down play, and the Vikings come through to keep the drive going to have a first down at the Alder 46. 29 seconds and counting left in the third period. Tie ball game at 13 all. Bob Tucker, the tight end, is in motion. Kramer back in the pocket, lets it go. He's got Pascal. It hit Pascal in the helmet. It hit him on the top of the head.
Kramer did a great job right there. He knew what the defense was. Even though he was pressured, he had somebody on him, and he's limping right now. It looked like he hurt his ankle a little bit. But he saw what the defense was. He knew Pascal had to be open in that hole in the middle, and he just threw it in there. And the ball was a little short. Pascal tried to maybe come back or stop, and he slipped, and the ball hit him right in the helmet. Look at that. Excellent play, though. Good pressure on him, and he drills it right into that open area, that hole. And it hit his face mask and his helmet. Incomplete.
A rather embarrassing moment for the rookie from North Carolina. 2nd and 10 from the 46-yard line. Crowd fired up again here at the Astrodome. Here's the blitz.
There it is.
Kramer gets it away, underthrows Terry LeCount. The intended receiver, he saw it coming. Reinfeldt was blowing through there, and Kramer knew he had to unload it.
This is a safety blitz. Number 37 is the weak safety. He comes through. You've got a guard blocking on Bingham, so there's nobody to block Reinfeldt. You've got Hunt, the linebacker, coming also, and Reinfeldt's a free man, and of course he forces the low throw.
Again, a third down situation.
You know, one thing, Frank, you notice every once in a while the quarterback will speed up the line of scrimmage. But what he does is you come out of the huddle and you look at those clocks at either end of the stadium. Sometimes there's 5 or 6 seconds left, so you try to run up, hustle up there and get the play off.
Third down, 10. Brown chanting defense. Shotgun formation for Minnesota. The blitz coming again after Kramer, who unloads it downfield, and we get it almost intercepted. It's almost intercepted, and then almost tipped right back into the arms of Terry LeCount, number 80, the intended receiver. Looked like LeCount was held up a little bit by the defender, who is Carter Hardwick, number 36.
They're in the shotgun. They got the blitz coming again. You got Bingham coming, Brazil, and then the ball's thrown out. And here, Hartwig has the ball in his arms and knocks it back, and LeCount had it. Gee, that would have been a turn of events.
Coleman in to do the punting. Standing back on his 40. Roach is standing on the 10. High kick is very, very short. Fair catch is signaled by Greg Bingham, the linebacker, at the 30-yard line. How many times you see a linebacker signal for a fair catch on a punt?
Probably the first punt he's caught since high school. Looked like he does it all the time, though, didn't he?
Well, Coleman wanted a pooch kick that somewhere in the vicinity of the 5-yard line where he nailed the last one. Look at Bingham. Look at everybody giving him a hard
Bingham
time.
saying, oh, it's nothing, guys. I do it all the time.
Yeah. You need me to return punts if
Hey, on the White Shadow.
With Roger Staubach back in the Astrodome. Start of the 4th period of play. Cleveland still leading Cincinnati in the 4th quarter. And New Orleans is still leading New England also in the 4th period. Our score is tied at 13 as the Oilers have the football again with a first down at their 28, sending Campbell across the 30 after the 32-yard line.
This Minnesota team is really a well-coached football team. Bud Grant has got a good staff, and I really enjoyed working with him in the Pro Bowl one year. I like Bud Grant. He's got a great sense of humor. He's serious. He's competitive. But they've come in here today, nothing to gain. They've played a heck of a football game against a team that has everything to lose today by losing the football game. They just seem to be well coached on defense and offense today. And, of course, Houston is coming back a little bit in the second half.
On 2nd and 6, Stabler over the middle completes it after the 47-yard line to Rich Caster.
Stabler again working the tight ends. He pumps deep and then comes underneath behind the linebacker right there to Castor, who makes a fine catch behind Jeff Seaman.
Castor has done a nifty job filling in the second half here for Mike Barber.
Seaman's in for Studwell now.
Campbell fights his way loose, may have lost the ball. However, Houston recovered at the 50-yard line. Hard to see from this angle, but it looked from the reaction of the crowd like that's what happened. New England has now moved in front of the Saints 31-27 in the final period at the Superdome in New Orleans. Houston would make the playoffs unless New England defeats New Orleans.
And Cleveland
and a bunch of other things, but that's one of the probables. Second down, 7 from the 50. Stabler over the middle, going long, and almost intercepted by Hannon. Tommy Hannon, number 45, thought he had one there off the snake.
Well, here we can see the defensive backfield right now, and you got Castor's out to the right there. You got Hannon to the to the inside here, number 45, and also Turner to the outside. So it's a double team situation. Hannon makes the play. It looks like for a minute Castor's open because Hannon to Turner's to the outside. Excuse me, Frank. But he really wasn't, because Hannon was coming to the inside and he had a clear shot for the interception.
If you say so, I believe it. 3rd and 7, and this one is picked off. Bobby Bryant, who has made a few big interceptions in his day, picks that one off. And now a few boos rain down from above in the direction of the snake, Ken Stabler.
Randy Holloway was in this time, and a lot of pressure on Stabler, and he hung the ball out there. Bobby Bryant looks at the quarterback. He reads the quarterback. That's his job. He's a cluer. And he clued Stabler just right, anticipated to throw, and made the interception.
So yet another turnover in a game of turnovers. Timeout. Score tied at 13 early in the final period. Today, NBA basketball and college football on CBS Sports. You're a frustrated basketball player yourself, aren't you?
Good jump shot. Still have it.
1st and 10, Vikings from midfield. Kramer off the sensor, the tight end. That sensor is caught behind the line by Vernon Perry. Fine play by number 32.
Here's an interesting situation. Eddie Biles, their fine defensive coordinator for Houston, mentioned that Houston uses a lot of man-to-man coverage, and you hear people talk about zone, man-to-man. Well, Houston plays receivers a lot of times on 1st down, man-to-man, especially a team like Minnesota that their backs catch a lot of footballs. That time, Vernon Perry was man-to-man, the tight end. No matter what kind of fake was going to the other side, Perry was over there and made the play, and it was a big play.
Kramer is 18 out of 35 for 148 yards, 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. 2nd down, 16. Kramer in trouble. Still looking. Oh, he really got decked as he delivered the football by Elvin Bethea.
Of course, Elvin caused that incompletion. LeCount was open over the middle, and he tried to drill it into him. Kramer has scrambled a few times today, and Bethea has been about 1 inch behind him, and this time he scrambles to the right. Big number 65 is hustling over there. Gets over there a little bit late, but in time to prevent the completion.
That gives you the great feeling in the ribs on Monday morning, doesn't it?
And you can hear that guy coming, too.
When you try to get out of bed. Bum Phillips intently watching the action. Bethea gets a rest. 3rd down, 16. Vikings from their 43. Score tied, final period. Shotgun. Kramer, excellent protection. Being chased down the sideline for Sensor. He's got it at the 25 and down to the 22. Great scramble by Tommy Kramer.
Tommy's a great athlete. That was. He's made some fine plays today. He's thrown a few he wish he could get back, but he's also made some big plays, and this is one of them right here. Look at him looking downfield. He has nobody. They're in a zone. You can see the linebackers looking back at the quarterback. They start to come up. Kramer dumps it over Stemrick's head right there into the hands of Stenser. Over Thomas Henderson, number 53, and Stemrick came over late for the tackle.
Stenser is a first-year tight end, although he was with the club last year. Basketball player, essentially out of Westchester State. Was injured last year, and they thought so much of him, they kept him on injured reserve. I think he has great promise as their tight end of the future. Maybe the future is now. 1st and 10. Minnesota at the Houston 22. Fake to Young, passes short of Rashad. To New York, and Brett Musburger for an NFL report.
All right, Frank, that
Long year for the Green Bay Packers, ending in Detroit today. Tommy Kramer. I don't know if he's hurting. They're going to come out and take a look at it. Tommy Kramer, who has just set a single-season passing record for the Minnesota Vikings in total yardage. He now has reached 3,487. And rather than take a chance in this playoff game, because he's taken some pretty good shots.
He took a good lick from Bingham that time. They blitzed on 1st down, which is a normal tendency down around the 20-yard line. First of all, you try to keep the other team out of field goal range, and you have the help of the end zone. So they're blitzing a lot down inside that 20-yard line, and Steve Dills, number 12, just replaced Kramer.
Steve is the former Stanford player, as you see the book thus far on Tommy Kramer this afternoon. And Dills came on, you might recall, did an outstanding job against the Washington Redskins in midseason. In fact, he did so well that there actually was a quarterback controversy for a while in Minnesota. He led the Vikings to a very impressive 39-14 victory when they weren't scoring any points at all. But the next week, Kramer was back on the job. 2nd and 10 from the 23-yard line of the Oilers. Dills torn down at the 30-yard line. Big pass rush by Mike Stensrud, number 67, who really blew through there.
Well, that's a pressure rush right there. Stensrud came in and blew right in there. I don't know who missed him. It looked like Swilly, the center, had a shot at him, and Wes Hamilton, the guard, but Dills came in the game and found out what it was all about.
Stensrud, probably the best pass rusher of the Oilers, as you see Tommy Kramer right back in the huddle, missing just one play. It's now 3rd down, 18, needed for the 1st down for the Vikes at the Oiler 30-yard line. 10 minutes, 45 seconds remaining. Over the middle, complete to Stenser at the 20. And Stenser is not nearly enough close to the 1st down marker. He had to reach the 12 to pick up the 1st down.
What they're doing is doubling the wide receivers, and they're playing the tight end man-to-man. Thomas Henderson, 53, has him all over the field. He's got a step on Henderson. He almost gets his left hand on the ball. Kramer drilled it in there. A nice catch.
All right, here's Dan Meyer, who missed 2 field goals and 3 extra points against Cleveland last week. He's had 1 extra point block. This attempt will be 38 yards, and the noise is deafening. It's up, it's long enough, it is good. And Dan Meyer comes through in the clutch like a great athlete should, as the Minnesota Vikings have recaptured the lead from the Houston Oilers with 9:57 left to play in the game. Vikings 16, Oilers. So we had a little problem a couple of weeks ago with the Philadelphia-Atlanta game. Dan Meyer. Roaches at the 14, up to the 20, 30. Carl Roaches to the 40-yard line. Ex-Texas A&M star, who was out of football for 2 years and just pleaded with the Oilers coaches for a chance because he wanted to play pro football, but he only wanted to play in Houston. And the Oilers specialty team coach, John Paul Young, once upon a time was one of Roach's coaches. Can I say that at Texas A&M? Huh? Well, he was. But that's one of the reasons he's on this ball club. Oilers find themselves down by 3. 1st and 10 from the 40. Campbell out across the 45 to the 47-yard line.
Well, the Vikings have kept the Oiler offense under control point-wise, but they haven't stopped Earl today.
Well, that's what the crowd is cheering about right now. The announcement that Cleveland and Cincinnati are now tied. And by the way, there's only 14 seconds left to play in that game. Thompson hitting Pat McAnally with a touchdown pass of 59 yards with 14 seconds to go. So it looks like Cleveland and Cincinnati may be going overtime. 2nd and 3. Campbell for the first down. Rips his way into Viking territory to the 47-yard line. We're talking about Sensor earlier for the Vikings. He has caught 9 passes for 65 yards. Been a very, very big part of that offense. Campbell now 24 carries for 184 yards. 2 carries from now, he will set an NFL all-time record for most carries in a single season. He has 184 yards rushing. Stabler back to throw it. Drills Casper at the 35, inside the 30 to the 25, and the Oilers are on the move.
Casper did a great job right there. He goes downfield and starts to come around Seaman, number 50. Stabler looks back, and right here it looks like Seaman's got him. He starts to go, then he comes back, finds the hole in the zone, catches the football, and makes a great adjustment.
Now we got a correction on our Cleveland-Cincinnati game. There's still apparently a considerable amount of time left in that game, so wipe out that time left. Score is tied at 24. They're into the final period. We got some information here that it was down to the final seconds. Here's Stabler.
Safety blitz again.
Got a flag. Castor on the completion at the 15, but there was a marker thrown at the line of scrimmage, and I believe we've got a hold against the Oilers. Yes.
Well, what's happening, Frank, is the line has seen the blitz. They're getting upset by it a little bit, and they're starting to worry about the blitz instead of their own man, and there's been some holding on the blitzes. That was a safety blitz, Hannon number 45, and it's worked each time Minnesota's tried it.
Pat Haggerty walks off the yardage, and here's the call.
He comes into the training camp, into the season in good shape, and continues from there.
Well, I'm getting a little nervous. I don't know what he's looking at there. Maybe the playoff possibilities. What happens if? 2nd down, 15. Oilers from the 32 of Minnesota. Here they come again.
Blitz.
Intercepted and dropped. Oh, that was touchdown. All over it. Kurt Knopf, number 25, former Oiler, looking up at the heavens, thinking of what could have been.
Could have showed White Shoes is out there pointing, knowing that's going to be a blitz. And here comes Hannon, number 25, and it's no one is touching him on that blitz. Angelo Fields is trying to get out there, but he's still got to block his man, and no one's picking up Hannon. You keep using it until they stop it.
3rd down. Oilers need 15 for the first down. They're still at the 32-yard line. Earl Campbell has 85 yards to go if he can somehow pick him up in 6 minutes and 54 seconds of becoming the leading rusher in NFL history in one season. Stabler at the feet of Richard Castor at the 15-yard line. Well, Fritch and company are coming on, but they're looking now at a field goal of 49 or 50 yards. Stabler took a good shot on this.
Here's the pressure on Stabler. Mulaney 77, and quite a few others were in there. 79, Doug Martin tried to get around the corner, but Mulaney got him on the left ankle, and then he was hit late and questionable. Dave Roller, who came to the lineup also.
All right, here's Fritch, sore back and all. Nielsen will put this one down at the 38, which will make it a 48-yard attempt to tie it up. And if he bangs it through, this crowd will explode. They're on their feet. It's blocked. Picked up by Nielsen, but the Vikings will take over at the 34. So Minnesota doing what the Vikings do best, and that is block kicks. That is 46 block kicks over the last 5 years. And they've won a lot of ball games by simply doing that. Timeout here at the Astrodome. Back in just a moment. It'll be first down and 10 yards to go. the Minnesota Vikings at their 34-yard line. They lead it by a score of 16-13. Kramer with the sideline throw intended for Pascal. Again, a reminder for our viewers in Philadelphia and Atlanta, because of the contractual commitments to the NFL, we may be cutting away from this game on your local stations before the game is concluded, because we wish to bring you as much football coverage as possible. We may be cutting away abruptly, and if that occurs, we will update you continuously on the progress of this game. There's a replay.
There's Kramer rolling out. This time, Ted Thompson, number 51, does a good job, and of course, Henderson puts pressure on him, but Thompson did a good job on Pascal. That's been a successful play all day, rolling out, hitting the back, but Thompson, 51, was there to prevent the completion.
2nd and 10 from the 33. Kramer pumps it once, intended for Miller at the near sideline. Someone may got a hand on that one. And it'll be 3rd down, and 10 needed for the 1st down for the Vikings at their 34-yard line. Boy, so many things happening around the National Football League. Stay tuned. Doubleheader game upcoming on most of these stations. It'll either be Dallas at Philadelphia or Atlanta at Los Angeles. 2 great games. Vikings leading here 16-13. And for those of you who'll be leaving us shortly, we'll keep you updated. 3rd down, 10. Big play. Minnesota Vikings. Ball control down. Oilers putting on the pressure defensively. They need the football. They need to score. And they have held the Vikings as Doug Pascal took the handoff from Kramer and got just a yard. And Minnesota will have to punt.
Houston had their linebackers blitzing to the inside, and they pretty well shut the play down immediately.
Greg Coleman comes in to do the punting for the Minnesota Vikings. The little man, Carl Roaches, is deep. Oilers playing return all the way. Peel back as Roaches makes the grab at the 20. Gets away from the first man. Looking for running room out to the 23-yard line. Good coverage by the Minnesota Vikings, and the Oilers have put the ball in play at their 22 or 23. 45 yards on the punt and 8 yards on the return. 5 minutes, 47 seconds left to play with the Astrodome. Once again, a special announcement which concerns only our viewers in Philadelphia and Atlanta because of contractual commitments to the NFL. Later games on today's schedule must be broadcast to your cities in their entirety. So we'll be cutting away from this broadcast in Philadelphia and in Atlanta before the game is completed. And of course, we'll update you continuously on the progress of this game. Here's Stabler going to Wilson. Wilson after the 20, looking for some place to go, and gets back about to the line of scrimmage when all is said and done. Now, the next time that Earl Campbell carries the football, he will set an NFL record. That'll be his 26th carry of the day. And he will set a new NFL record for most carries in a single season.
This Doug Martin, number 79, has played a lot at right end for Minnesota. He forced that pass right there, and it seems he's having a heck of a day. He's been on some tackles. He's been close to the passer, and he's coming on as a rookie.
Stabler in trouble. Still on his feet to Casper. First down. First down, Houston at the 34-yard line as Stabler did a great job avoiding the Minnesota rush.
He ducked out of the way right here. He was trapped. In fact, he can't find anybody right here, and he's trapped right there, and it's an excellent play. He gets out of the grasp and fires it out to Casper, who was wide open. But, of course, Dave Roller, big number 76, is talking to himself.
Jeff Seaman made the stop, but the Oilers have a first down at their 34. 4.5 minutes left to play in the game. Stabler, all the time in the world, drills Casper, who makes the grab at the 42-yard line, inches off the ground. That's why Dave Casper made the Pro Bowl. Catches like that.
Stabler's got a lot of faith in Casper. He's looking over to one side. He pumps over there. He looks back. Casper breaks open as a secondary receiver and right between the linebackers.
That's a pickup of 9. It's second down 1 for the Oilers at their 42. Clock moving with 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Oilers trail by 3. On second and 9, Stabler going to throw it into heavy traffic. He completes the pass in Viking territory at the 47-yard line. And that is good for another first down as Mike Renfro, number 82, comes down with the football. First and 10 at the 46-yard line as the clock relentlessly moves on.
That was a great play by Renfro. He had Turner to his outside, Hannon to his inside, and also Blair, the linebacker, was in the area. And Stabler thread the needle, and Renfro made the play.
Well, you get the feeling now that this is going to be the drive, a do-or-die situation for the Oilers as they're moving the ball down. Downfield it goes. Casper makes the pass. He's at the 10 and went out of bounds, they say, in the area of the 15-yard line. First down.
I was confused there. I thought that was Ahmad Rashad for a minute, Frank. He made an Ahmad Rashad catch. Turner had good coverage. Number 27. It was a zone. He had Turner back there waiting for it. The ball's thrown right here. Turner's in good position. Casper just pulls the ball inside, pulls it away from him, and makes the play.
Stepped out of bounds with the left foot at the 15-yard line. 31 yards. Rich Castor, forgotten man for the Houston Oilers, coming back with a vengeance today. Filling in for Mike Harbour, who's down with the flu. Many of these Oiler fans on their feet. First down at the 15. Campbell fights his way back to the line of scrimmage, maybe 1 yard, and that is the new NFL record. That gives him 370 attempts, rushing attempts this year, beating Walter Payton's mark of last year.
Now here's Campbell again. It's a basic play. He's got Wilson leading. He breaks for daylight. He thought he had daylight inside, and of course Wilson's leading to the outside. He broke back inside, but Mulaney's there, and the inside of the Viking defense did a good job.
26 carries now for Campbell and 189 yards, but that means nothing. They want the victory. It is second and 9 from the 14. On the delay, Campbell to the 10. Campbell fights his way to the 5 and out of bounds inside the 5. The officials will mark it, looks like at the 3, maybe the 4-yard line. Let's see.
That play was set up well. Your normal good running back would have got 5 yards because it was just set up well. But Earl Campbell breaks it down to the 5-yard line, gets an extra 6 or 7 yards. Bobby Bryant tries to hit him. Campbell stays on his feet. You got Noth over there working on him. Finally drags him out of bounds with a little help from Blair and McNeil and the officials and a couple of Derek Dahls.
Clock is running down toward the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Campbell now 27 carries for an even 200 yards. Earl gets the call. He hurdles down to the 2-yard line. And that should take us to the 2-minute warning. And the Oilers will have a second and goal to go from the 2. What a finish here at the Astrodome in Houston, Texas. There's the whistle. The 2-minute warning going to both benches. And this capacity crowd at the Astrodome is on its feet as the Oilers need 3 to overtake or tie the Vikings and a touchdown to go into the lead. All right, tell them about it, Roger.
Tonight on CBS, it's a big night with 60 Minutes. Then on Alice, guest star Martha Ray will show up as Mel's mother. Can't Stop Flirting. That suits Mel just fine. It's all tonight on CBS.
And it's all here in the Astrodome this afternoon for the Houston Oilers. They know if they beat the Minnesota Vikings, they're in the playoffs, regardless of what happens anywhere else. And they're keeping a close eye on that Cleveland-Cincinnati game, which is tied 24-all in the 4th period. Should Cincinnati win, Houston would win the division. Right now, they just want to punch this touchdown across. Second and goal from the 2-yard line. Full house backfield, Campbell! great football player. Here in the Astrodome as the Houston Oilers have taken the lead with 1 minute and 58 seconds left to play. 19-16 with the extra point try to come.
Well, it's really amazing. He is something special. The fans appreciate him, and you look for a flaw in a guy like that. He's a nice guy to boot.
He has 203 yards rushing this afternoon. Fritz with the extra point try. Nielsen to hold. The kick is good. 7 plays, 78 yards. Drive took 3 minutes and 49 seconds. And they're doing a little celebrating here in Houston right now. It may be premature, but that remains to be seen.
Here's the touchdown right here. It's off tackle. It's kind of a delayed play with Wilson leading. You got to back on the other way. Campbell breaks to the left and has no problem. Here's Wilson, number 45. Watch him. He's on our right here, and he has the lead block, blocks McNeil, and there's no problem after that. Excuse me, blocks Blair, number 59 that time. Blair has to guess. When linebackers on the goal line, you kind of run into that line of scrimmage and guess, hope the back hits your area. And of course, that time, Wilson took care of him. One thing we've forgotten today that we've, Houston has got the key game. It's the big matchup for them, but they've fought tooth and nail here against the Vikings, who have come into this game with their division clinched. They've had the loss of Ted Brown, but they've played this team to a standstill the whole game, and it's not over yet.
I think Tony Fritz is happy. Of course, he was smiling until he talked to the official, and the official probably said, "You still got 1 minute 58 to go." Earl Campbell's individual game high this year was 206 yards. That was against the Chicago Bears. He's within 3 yards of that. As things stand right now, he will finish the season some 60 yards or so behind O.J. Simpson's all-time record. Eddie Payton at the 5. 15, 20. Payton out to the 25 and forward to the 30-yard line. Keep in mind, both teams have all 3 of their timeouts left. Next Saturday on CBS, Nebraska and Mississippi State. We're looking forward to seeing all our friends in El Paso for the annual Sun Bowl game. They've got a great matchup there. It'll be followed by the CBS Sports Spectacular, which brings you the style and grace of a World Ice Skating Exhibition and the thrills and spills of the Hall of Fame Rodeo. Join us, a great sports afternoon next Saturday on CBS. Oilers 20, Vikings 16. Oilers 1 minute 52 away from being in the playoffs. First down, Minnesota at their 30. This crowd is on its feet. Kramer trying to get the Vikings back into the game. We get a flag as the pass is incomplete over the middle. Closest man to it was the tight end Bob Tucker, number 38. The call will go against Minnesota. Holding. You realize if Oakland wins that Western Division this year, we will have 6 new divisional champions in the NFL in all probability. Is that a turnaround from 1 year?
Well, the draft and the schedule alignment is pretty well even things out.
We have holding, number 78, offense, first down.
Costly holding penalty against Steve Riley of the Minnesota Vikings. First down at 20. Vikings at their 20-yard line. And here's where that big crowd here in the Astrodome becomes an ally. Now let's see who moves. That crowd can get so loud, it's impossible to hear the signals being called. And occasionally you might get an offensive lineman moving.
John Bell is in for Yeri, and I think he moved a little bit. Number 71.
Timeout, nothing.
Timeout, nothing. What kind of penalty is that? That's the first one we've had of those today. Well, the officials have changed their mind, so it's status quo. 1st and 20 from the 20. Well, this is where the Vikings started last week with only 14 seconds to go and no timeouts.
Now, the Vikings are a big play team. They've come to play today, and they've played well, so this suspended 48 is nothing for them after last week.
And they've got 3 timeouts.
They've got time for a couple touchdowns.
One thing they didn't have is the noise factor against them. Kramer can't hear the signals.
No, that shotgun, Frank, is really tough. Remember when I was trying to call plays from that, it's even worse. And you've got to look at the ball. Everybody looks at the ball, but the one guy that can't look, he's got to hear the snap at the center. That's where the biggest problem is from the center, because the rest of the guys can look in and look at the ball. But the center's got to hear the snap count.
Crowd as loud as it is, even standing, what do you stand, 5 yards behind the center?
5 yards behind.
He can't hear you from that distance. And it will get even louder as the Vikings come up to the line.
Well, the Oiler players are going to tell them to keep quiet also. That'll settle them down.
1st and 20. Tommy Kramer backed up in the shotgun. Flags all over the place.
It was before the snap again. It was a legal procedure. The lineman jumped a little bit. Why the play was stopped in mid-play.
Of course, the crowd hears that. They get them fired up even more. I imagine the crowd feels that they're responsible for getting this 5-yard penalty against the Vikings.
Well, Chuck Noll of Pittsburgh attributed the crowd
to
yeah. Have a lot to do with that game. Here's the isolation right here. Watch
the false start, number 61, offense.
Vikings penalized in the false start. It was Wes Hamilton, the right guard. First down at 25 as they're backed up to their 15. Another flag, and they whistled it again. They threw the flag again prior to the snap of the ball. Again, illegal procedure against Minnesota. I think I know what Chuck Noll was talking about.
Well, here's where the referee can take charge of the game, and he can let it be known if the fans don't quiet down, they're going to march those penalties back the other way.
False start, number 61, offense.
See, the fans are going to really get rolling right now, and I think it's time for the referee to step in and say, hey, let's get down to at least a room tone.
That's Hamilton guilty of the infraction for the 2nd straight play. First down and 30 as the Vikings are back to their 10. More flags. Vikings can't get a playoff because of the crowd.
They'll be back into the showers, and the referees will still be calling those.
The NFL rulebook states very clearly that you cannot penalize a crowd in professional football. You can in the colleges, but not in pro football. It's now going to be 1st and 35. What an ally this crowd is. And of course,
ball start, offense.
In a stadium, an enclosed stadium, a dome like this one, that sound just ricochets off the roof and bounces right back down to the field. There's the time remaining, 1 minute and 39 seconds.
Of course, they could come out of the shotgun. It would be easier, but I think what they're going to do right now, if the shotgun's part of their strategy, they didn't want to come out of it before.
They have to come out of it after penalized 3 straight times. Kramer back in the end zone, delivers it over the middle, completes it to Terry LeCount out at the 23-yard line. Of course, they needed 35 for the first down, so they still got a ways to go.
That's pretty darn good composure, though, after all that, after those setbacks, to stand back there and drill one into LeCount over the middle.
Vikings still have all 3 timeouts left. Sideline throw. Ahmad Rashad bumped out of bounds in the neighborhood of the 33-yard line.
This Viking team, they've got the players. They've got people at skilled positions. You got a fine quarterback, got receivers like LeCount, White, Sensor.
It's like J.C. Wilson went for the interception.
White. Right, he did.
and got burned. Carter Hardaway came over to make the tackle. Ball is now at the 34. It is third down. And suddenly the Vikings are within range of a first down. Third down at 6 is what they're looking at their 34. Good protection for Kramer. Goes long for Terry LeCount. LeCount couldn't find it.
Ball waffled up there.
And LeCount was shaken up on the play. He's down on the field as he went down hard. Kramer had pretty decent protection. I'm a little surprised with all the timeouts left, needing 6 for the first down, that he'd go with the long pattern.
Well, he thought he saw something down the middle, and they were in again that double zone. Reinfeldt went out to the outside. They had Vernon Perry to the other outside. The middle was open, but the ball was thrown up there too long and too high. It fluttered a little bit on him, and of course Reinfeldt had enough time to get back. And
next Sunday on CBS, the NFL Today precedes the NFC wildcard game, and right now we don't know who that's going to be, friends. If you had to take a pretty good guess, chances are it'll be the Los Angeles Rams or the Dallas Cowboys, depending on what happens today. But that's just an educated guess at this point. Should be an outstanding football game. Fourth down. And the Vikings will go for it. 4th and 6 at their own 34. 1:07 left to play. They trail 20-16. Ahmad Rashad has the first down. It goes out of bounds at the 42.
He's working on J.C. Wilson out there and caught Wilson into man-to-man coverage and broke to the outside, and plenty of room. Enough for the first down.
So the Vikings keep their drive going with that 4th down completion. They still have all 3 timeouts left. And we have 1:03 left to play in the game. Kramer thus far doing an excellent job of utilizing his time and his timeouts. Pump it at once. Kramer going to run it out of bounds. No place to go. Gets back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be no gain. So he frittered away about 11 seconds there as the clock moves down to the 56-second mark. Keep in mind, if you joined us late, the Vikings have been without their outstanding running back, Ted Brown, who was injured in the second period, suffered a sprained ankle, and has spent the second half watching the game on the bench in civilian clothes. How badly it's sprained, we don't know. And of course, Minnesota has the week off next week, being the NFC Central Division champion. 2nd and 10. There he is, Ted Brown. Kramer with a floater. Almost intercepted. Intended for LeCount. And he was well covered. Reinfeldt was over there, number 37, had a shot at the interception.
Perry, 32, is right there also. There was no chance on that play.
So it is 3rd down and 10 for the Minnesota Vikings. Ricky Young comes back in. Miller comes out. Oilers win it. They're in the playoffs. No worse than a wild card. Third down. 10 needed for the first down. Kramer under pressure. No good. So again, it will come down to a 4th down play.
Looked like, Frank, that time he was looking for censor, and the way they're playing their defenses, they're worried about the wide receivers, so they're getting help. The cornerbacks are getting help on the wide receivers, LeCount, Rashad, and sometimes White if he's in there. So Henderson has got the job of taking that tight end across the field everywhere that he goes, and he's done an excellent job of doing it. He was that time right in front of him, and Kramer really had nowhere to go.
4th and 10 for the Vikings. This may be their last gasp from their own 42-yard line. They still haven't used the timeout, however. Tommy Kramer. We've got a flag. Pass is complete to Sammy White for what would be a first down at the 45. However, we've got a flag thrown on the near side of the field, and the clock is stopped with 40 seconds to go.
Is that a pretty catch?
Offside against the Oilers. And that will be declined. They'll take the play in the first down. And the Vikings still aren't dead.
Kramer's rushed right here. He's really throws the ball out in a little bit of a hope. Sammy White, the ball's thrown, and Sammy just makes a fine catch right there. An excellent grab.
First down at the 45-yard line of the Houston Oilers. 40 seconds to go. Vikings trying to pull it out here over the middle. Rashad has the grab at the 31. Another first down. And let's see if the Vikings will finally utilize one of their timeouts. They do, to stop the clock with 33 seconds left to play. Field goal won't help them. And Christmas greetings and season's greetings, not only from us, but from all the people who produce this telecast for you this afternoon. Cincinnati still tied in the last period at 24 all.
Dog football game. Houston showed some class coming back after being behind, went ahead. And now Minnesota is in a great drive. And, of course, this game affects Houston a great deal here.
Cleveland, Cincinnati at 24 all in the final period. Keep in mind that this Minnesota drive wound up back at the 5-yard line. They have come from their own 5 after 3 straight penalties because of the crowd problems. They couldn't hear the signals, and 3 straight illegal procedure penalties. Now what are we talking about? We had a conference during the timeout. You saw with one of the officials on the far sideline with Bum Phillips. Now all of the officials are clustered together at the near sideline and talking things over, and we wish we could tell you what it was all about, but right now we don't know. 33 seconds left to play in the game. Minnesota has a first down at the 31-yard line of the Houston Oilers. Again, the NFC wild card next week, next Sunday on CBS. Be sure and be with us then. Rashad to the right side, Sammy White to the left, and LeCount set inside of him. Pressure. He gets it away. Out of bounds. Give a lot of credit to the Houston defensive line that time for forcing Kramer to hurry that toss. It's amazing. You know, the last 2 minutes of an NFL game can last for an eternity.
That's right. And what Kramer's trying to do right here is take advantage of this underneath coverage man-to-man by the linebackers. That time he had Rashad on the turn-in. He was double covered by Reinfeld and J.C. Wilson, and he had Miller man-to-man on Robert Brazil down the sidelines, but Brazil did a good job and covered him all the way.
Bum saying, who, me nervous? Not me. Gotta keep my cool here. 2nd and 10. Kramer again under pressure, lets it fly. He's going for all of it. Sammy White was the intended receiver. It'll be 3rd and 10. Well, he got behind the defensive backs, which is hard to believe.
Stemrick was down there, and also Vernon Perry, and anything could have happened on a play like that.
One thing you don't want to do is let a guy behind you.
There was some help there. Can't see it right here. It was down that dark corner, and we have a better view of it, right? And he was, Perry really got over there late.
It is 3rd and 10. Vikings have already completed, or converted, I should say, 2 4th down plays into first downs in this drive. Ball is at the 31-yard line of the Houston Oilers. The Vikings trail by 4. Kramer running out of the pocket, lets it go, and completes it for a first down out of bounds to Sammy White at the 15-yard line. That stops the clock with 15 seconds to go.
Tommy Kramer is doing an excellent job. There's good pressure on him that time. He steps up in the pocket, not only 2 steps up, he breaks to the outside, and here we have the Cleveland score.
Cleveland has just struck in Cincinnati with a field goal and lead the Bengals 27-24. Our game, 15 seconds to go. Time to hitch up your pants and get to work. And that's what the Vikings are doing. First down at the Oiler 15-yard line. They have to have a touchdown. They've got 2 timeouts left. Kramer has time.
Throws the end zone.
and almost up into the bleachers as Ahmad Rashad was double covered.
Well, they've got to throw everything in the end zone now with 8 seconds to go. Of course, they have 2 timeouts left, but that's not going to do them. One of them might help, but 2 of them, they're not going to have enough time to use 2 of them.
8 seconds, 2 plays. What do you think?
You can get off 2 plays in 8 seconds, but you got to get them off quick. That took 7 seconds, that play, and it was a deep play.
Kramer has now thrown 50 times, 25 out of 50 for 252 yards. He's had 4 intercepted and thrown for 2 touchdowns. Incomplete. Pass interference. Sammy White gets the pass interference call on J.C. Wilson, who is down in the corner with him, which would give the Vikings a first down at the 2 or 3 yard line, with 3 seconds left in time for one more play. Final score, Cleveland has beaten Cincinnati 27-24 on a Don Cockcroft field goal from 22 yards out.
Well, the referees are it's going to be a holding instead of an interference down on the 1, which is a big break.
Illegal use of the hands, defense, first down.
He must have hit him past the 5-yard demarcation line. That's a big, big break for the Oilers. The pass interference would have made it 1st and goal at the 2-yard line. Now the Vikings have one more play, but it will be from the 10.
Well, with that Cleveland score, and New Orleans is still losing to New England, this play right here could be the season for and it will be the season for the Oilers.
Cowboys have jumped on the Philadelphia Eagles. Danny White on a quarterback sneak from 1 yard out. And Dallas leads Philadelphia 7-0, 6 minutes deep into that game. And of course, most of you will be watching that game following the conclusion of this one. So stay tuned for our CBS doubleheader game. We're down to the final play of the game. 2nd week in a row for the Minnesota Vikings. It has come down to this, although this time they don't have to make up 50 yards or so. They've got 10. It's not a bad area to pass in from this 10-yard line compared to 3 or 4 yards away. Your receivers have a little room to work.
Well, the only difference the 3 yards away would have made, of course, is the ability to run the ball, which wouldn't have been strategies that wouldn't have been overlooked by Bud Grant. But right now, of course, they have to throw, and they've got basically one play left, 3 seconds.
Well, about 3 seconds from the time the ball is snapped, this place is going to blow up with delight, or else it'll turn into a morgue.
Go back to that first extra point.
That's right. That's the difference right now.
Could be a tie here.
Kramer looking, gets it away, that's it.
Well, that's a big win. Big win for the Oilers.
The Houston Oilers are in the playoffs. They will be the wild card team as a result of Cleveland beating Cincinnati this afternoon and the Oilers defeating Minnesota. But boy, it doesn't come easy. For Roger Staubach, this is Frank Lieber reminding you that the NFL on CBS will continue after this word from your local station.